Chapter 3281, Each to their own, don't worry about it too much. Lin Moyu didn't understand body dissolution and reincarnation. He hadn't expected the true spirit would enter the river of time. Once entering the river of time, it was hard to say how much time would pass. As the true spirit flowed along the river of time, countless years may have passed on the origin continent in the blink of an eye. In that sense, 210,000 years wasn't considered very long. Little May pondered, in my memories, there are some fragments about the river of time. It seems there was some problem with the river of time, but I'm not clear on the specifics. Little May tilted her head, furrowing her brows tightly as she searched her memories but couldn't find anything. Lin Moyu poured her a cup of tea. Don't think about it anymore. Some things aren't important. The previous life has passed. The most important thing is this life. Little May drank the tea, trying hard not to think about it. The vast memories brought by body dissolution and reincarnation weren't so easy to fully absorb. It needed time. Lin Moyu chatted with Little May, talking about everything under the sun. At this moment, Little May had become a knowledgeable and erudite cultivator. Gradually, Little May's manner of speaking changed. When she first awoke, Little May's speech was mature. But after chatting for a while, Little May gradually returned to her previous state, becoming innocent again, her eyes clear. Little May held firm to her Tao heart, treating all the memories as a dream, not letting the memories of her previous life dominate. In this life, Little May was still Little May, just with much more knowledge and rich cultivation experience. Regardless, Little May still maintained her independent personality. She was no longer that Ji-Yu Hanmei from her previous life. As they talked, the 75th Tao pattern condensed and formed. The 76th Tao pattern began condensing. The speed slowed slightly, but was still very fast. It wouldn't take long to condense. Lin Moyu estimated that with this boost in destiny, he could condense at least 5 to 6 Tao patterns in a short time, and the speed of condensing Tao patterns would become faster in the future. After Little May recovered, Lin Moyu also relaxed a bit. After these days together, Lin Moyu and Little May had already developed a strong master-disciple bond. Though Lin Moyu had selfish motives, he was sincere in taking her as a disciple and sincere towards Little May. In fact, regardless of destiny, Lin Moyu also hoped Little May would still be her previous self. Now that Little May was fine, he was relieved. However, at the same time, he also had a bit of a headache. Little May's name in her previous life was Ji-Yu Hanmei. Just from the name, it was clear she wasn't just from the Ji-Yu family, but very likely from the same branch as Ji-Yu Hanyu. In terms of generations, Ji-Yu Hanmei should be of the same generation as Ji-Yu Hanyu's ancestors. An ancestor of the Ji-Yu family had become his disciple, while he had a husband-wife relationship with Ji-Yu Hanyu. This relationship seemed a bit messy. But for cultivators, there was no need to worry about these things. Each to their own. Little May would no longer become Ji-Yu Hanmei. Understanding this point, it didn't matter anymore. After resting for a day, Lin Moyu set out again with Little May. Little May still sat on the cloud-piercing sword cultivating. Little May now had a set of techniques more suitable for herself, the Tao Cold method, secretly passed down in the cold water sacred ground. The Tao Cold method was an extremely powerful technique. Cultivating the Tao Cold method allowed one to contact the power of the great Tao starting from the transcendent realm. From the beginning of cultivation, one's combat power was extremely strong. Moreover, the Tao Cold method would continuously suppress one's realm, called 3 suppressions, 1 rise. Cultivating the Tao Cold method, from transcendent realm to true God realm, required at least 3 complete cycles of cultivation. Each time one would cultivate to the peak of transcendent realm, then suppress back to early transcendent realm, then to the peak again and suppress back, repeating this 3 times. Only on the 4th time cultivating to the peak of transcendent realm could one truly break through and enter the true God realm. After reaching the true God realm, one would again go through 3 suppressions and 1 rise. So the Tao Cold method was extremely slow to cultivate. Perhaps peers had already cultivated to the Tao Venerable realm while you were still lingering in the Venerable Lord realm, not even reaching Venerable yet. However, once the Tao Cold method was cultivated to the Tao Venerable realm, it was completely different. The previous accumulation would all erupt in the Tao Venerable realm. The cultivation speed in the Tao Venerable realm would be over 10 times faster than others. Moreover, the previous accumulation would all transform into combat power. Being unmatched in the same realm wasn't a dream, and one could even fight across realms. The Tao cold method was a very powerful technique, but it had extremely high requirements for aptitude. Not just anyone could cultivate it. Ji Hanmei had cultivated the Tao cold method in her previous life. With her astonishing aptitude and the Ji family's vast resources, she reached the 9th level Tao Venerable realm in just 30,000 years. Originally she was the person in the Ji family with the best chance of breaking through to the great Tao realm. However, Ji Hanmei accidentally obtained a magical treasure related to the destiny Great Tao. Through that treasure, Ji Hanmei saw her own destiny. She could break through to the Great Tao realm, but wouldn't succeed or fail. In the end she would only become a pseudo-Great Tao realm powerhouse, with no hope of reaching the Great Tao realm in her lifetime. This result wasn't necessarily correct, but had a very high probability. At that time, young and proud, she naturally wouldn't accept this result. So Ji Hanmei resolutely chose to dissolve her body and reincarnate. Actually, humans had very limited information about the Great Tao realm. Ji Hanmei only knew that successfully dissolving one's body and reincarnating could advance to the Great Tao realm. She didn't know why it could reach the Great Tao realm at all. After Lin Moyu explained to her, she finally understood what an innate soul meant. She now had the best foundation for advancing to the Great Tao realm. As long as she cultivated well, the Great Tao realm was within reach. A month later, Lin Moyu left Dragon Race territory. A large expanse of darkness appeared in view. The darkness was separated from Dragon territory by only a thin line. On one side the Yang origin illuminated the earth, while on the other side it was dark and gloomy. Endless black chi rose from the earth, completely blocking the light of the Yang origin. This was the territory of the Netherworld race. The Netherworld race's territory was far smaller than the Dragon race's, not even 1% of the Dragon race's size. They didn't look very powerful, but to exist for so many years in the gap between the Dragon race and the 100 Herbs Alliance, there must be a reason. Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't underestimate the Netherworld race, but he had to go to the Netherworld race. He quickly crossed the boundary and entered Netherworld race territory. This land that had been sealed off for who knows how many years welcomed 2 new visitors today. As soon as he stepped into Netherworld race territory, streams of black chi coiled around him. This black chi was very familiar to him, identical to the black chi from the Netherworld black pool in his skeleton hell. Lin Moyu's heart stirred. The skeleton hell automatically appeared, enveloping himself in Little Mei. Little Mei was still cultivating at this time and couldn't be disturbed. The black chi dissipated when it touched the skeleton hell. Lin Moyu felt the skeleton hell was incredibly compatible with this place. The composition of power here seemed 70–80% similar to the skeleton hell. Lin Moyu advanced through the black earth, simultaneously releasing many skeleton generals to go in all directions, mapping the area and transmitting information for him. In his soul world, his soul was condensing the 81st Tao pattern. Previously affected by Little Mei's destiny, he had condensed 5 Tao patterns in an extremely short time, which satisfied Lin Moyu greatly. However, with each additional Tao pattern condensed, the speed slowed considerably. Then the speed of the 80th Tao pattern slowed dramatically, taking a full 20+ days to condense successfully. As for the 81st Tao pattern, the speed was even slower, needing about 3 months. The benefits brought by destiny had receded, beginning to trend towards stability. The skeleton generals explored in all directions, quickly forming a map in Lin Moyu's mind. Soon, an ear-shaped village was discovered. Found one. Lin Moyu revealed a slight smile, quickly walking towards the village. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3282, 3282. Chapter 3282, as long as they did it, they deserve to die. The Netherworld race had no cities, only villages and tribes. Each village was a tribe. Lin Moyu was looking for these individual tribes. Little Mei woke up from cultivation, her small brows furrowed. Teacher, have we reached Netherworld race territory? Lin Moyu smiled and said, Little Mei, have you been here before? Little May shook her head. I've only heard of it, never been here. Most humans didn't know much about the Netherworld race. They were too far apart and had little interaction. Only the three ancestors had some information about the Netherworld race. But normally, this information wouldn't be sold. Lin Moyu obtained partial information from the three ancestors due to special circumstances. Combined with information from the Beast Emperor and several Beast race royal families, Lin Moyu had a relatively deep understanding of the Netherworld race. Little May asked, Teacher, did you come to the Netherworld race to retrieve that hell fragment? Lin Moyu said, the Netherworld race itself should have a hell fragment. The 3 lives Buddha Patriarch gave them another one, so they should have 2 now. But the hell fragments are just part of it. There's something else I need to find. Lin Moyu's heart stirred. The skeleton hell enveloping them suddenly became clearer. Little May's eyes lit up slightly. She instinctively exclaimed, hell. Lin Moyu shook his head, not yet. It's just one of my techniques. At this time, the Netherworld black pool enlarged before Little May. Are you talking about this? Little May said instinctively, it said there's a bottomless black pool in hell where a black dragon lives. The black dragon is incredibly terrifying, comparable to the dragon race ancestor. Legend has it that when hell shattered, the Netherworld black pool separated from hell and fell onto the origin continent, evolving into the Netherworld race. But this is just a legend. It's hard to say if hell really exists. There were many versions of legends about hell circulating on the origin continent, including descriptions of the Netherworld black pool. Lin Moyu said, the legend isn't wrong. The Netherworld race did indeed evolve from the Netherworld black pool, and the Netherworld black pool was indeed once part of hell. The Netherworld black pool should have also shattered into many pieces, scattering across the land to form many smaller, independent black pools. The Netherworld race arose around these black pools. Every tribe has a Netherworld black pool. I'm going to take all these Netherworld black pools. Little May was startled. Teacher, do you plan to reforge hell? Lin Moyu nodded, yes, I want to make hell reappear in the world. Little May's eyes now sparkled with little stars. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to even think about Lin Moyu's grand ambition. Not just ordinary people, even she had never had such an idea. She hadn't expected Lin Moyu to have such thoughts. His vision and scope far surpassed ordinary people. Little May murmured softly, legend says hell had an owner. That former owner must have been incredibly powerful. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly, no matter how powerful, didn't they still die? With hell shattered, that owner naturally died too. Otherwise, how could hell have shattered? Little May sighed helplessly, indeed, no matter how powerful, one still dies. Lin Moyu said, just like great Tao realm beings. They're said to be immortal, but that's only if nothing unexpected happens. Once an accident occurs, those who should die will die. To truly be immortal, one must stand at the highest peak and have the entire world under one's feet. Little May knew the world Lin Moyu spoke of wasn't the origin continent. Lin Moyu's vision was incredibly lofty. He didn't place the mere origin continent in his eyes. Little May said softly, but this world may not have boundaries. Lin Moyu shook his head, the world definitely has boundaries. We just don't know where they are. Find the boundaries, find the world's highest peak, and stand on it. Stand on it. Lin Moyu's words were like a thunderclap, startling and enlightening. Little May seemed to see Lin Moyu truly standing on that unimaginable high peak, with countless great Taos and countless living beings under his feet. Teacher, you can definitely do it. For some reason, Little May was full of confidence in Lin Moyu, feeling he could definitely achieve it. Even though she had once been at the 9th level Tao Venerable realm and was now aiming for the Great Tao realm, Little May still felt very small before Lin Moyu. Looking at Lin Moyu's back, Little May felt like she was gazing up at a tall mountain, unable to see the top at a glance. What she saw was Lin Moyu's heart, a heart without limits. Lin Moyu didn't know Little May's thoughts. He stepped onto the black chi emitting earth and walked into a Netherworld race village. This village wasn't large. Looking through the undead eye, he saw over 100 soul flames, meaning there were over 100 people inside. Then Lin Moyu's expression suddenly changed, his gaze revealing terrifying killing intent. Little May was startled. Teacher, what's wrong? Lin Moyu said, I'll explain later. With a thought, skeleton generals poured out like a flood, instantly surrounding the entire tribe. The Netherworld race people in the tribe rushed out. They didn't know what was happening, why so many skeletons suddenly appeared. Without any words, the skeleton generals raised their swords and killed. This was just a small tribe. The netherworld race people inside weren't very strong, the strongest only at the 6th level Dao Venerable realm. Even a 6th level Dao Venerable found it difficult to break out when surrounded by vast numbers of skeleton generals. Lin Moyu didn't give him a chance. With a point of his finger, the skeleton hell instantly devoured him. The entire battle lasted less than half a minute before ending. Dozens of netherworld race people were all killed, none spared. Watching this, even little May was somewhat moved. Lin Moyu's killing speed was too fast. He didn't even say half a word of nonsense from start to finish. Lin Moyu walked into the tribe, heading straight in one direction. There were still living beings there. The soul flames gave Lin Moyu the best guidance. Coming to the back of the tribe, before some buildings like pigsties, Lin Moyu and little May together saw those living beings. 45 people, crowded into buildings like pigsties. Not like pigsties, they were pigsties. These people huddled together, their eyes vacant, clearly having lost their minds. Killing intent filled Lin Moyu's eyes. He recognized 2 people among them who had left the Great World back then. When he first entered the origin continent, some people wanted to leave. Lin Moyu had let a few people go. But people from the Great World had a slightly different aura from others. Lin Moyu recognized them at a glance. So many years had passed. He hadn't expected to encounter these people here again. Little May also saw these people. What did the netherworld race capture them for? Lin Moyu shook his head. I don't know. Little May said, teacher could have captured one to ask just now. Lin Moyu said, they wouldn't say anything. Actually, there's no need to ask. Whatever the reason, as long as they did it, they deserve to die. Little May could see that Lin Moyu must have dealt with the netherworld race before and knew some things about them. Indeed, he had dealt with them before. The netherworld race couldn't resurrect the dead. Even if kept alive, they wouldn't say anything. They would just shout, Netherworld Divine Lord, protect our race. Then die cleanly, not even ashes remaining. Since that was the case, it was better to just kill them. Little May asked, what about these people? Lin Moyu said, their true spirits have scattered and their physical bodies have been polluted. They're useless now. With a wave of his hand, flames rose up. These people instantly turned to ash. Little May's eyes still held curiosity. What was the netherworld race's purpose in capturing them? Lin Moyu said, let's take a look and find out. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3283, 3283. Chapter 3283, The Origin of the Netherworld Race. Lin Moyu waved his hand, and a beam of light fell from the sky, enveloping the small village. A great Tao appeared in the air, hazy and half-real. Little May recognized it at a glance, the Time Great Tao. So teacher has comprehended the Time Great Tao. Having dissolved her body and reincarnated, Little May's true spirit had once entered the river of time, so she could naturally recognize the Time Great Tao at a glance. Seeing Lin Moyu use the Time Great Tao now, Little May's eyes showed surprise. There weren't many people who could comprehend the Time Great Tao. Each one was a genius. But on second thought, she didn't seem very surprised that Lin Moyu could comprehend the Time Great Tao. Her teacher in this life was unfathomable. Whatever he did seemed normal. Lin Moyu smiled slightly without speaking. He pointed his finger lightly, time reversal. The Time Great Tao cast down a large screen of light. Events that had happened in the small village began to rapidly reverse. These people hadn't been captured for too long. With Lin Moyu's current ability, he could fully reverse to that time. Time rapidly rewound. Batches of people appeared in the projection, basically all those who had been captured. Each batch of captured people would be taken to a well in front of them, then thrown in. They would be fished out after a while. When fished out, some people had already lost their minds, becoming like walking corpses. Some people never appeared again. Those who had lost their minds would all become food for the netherworld race. They were all cultivators, with considerable power contained in their bodies. The netherworld race directly treated them as heavenly treasures, refining and eating them in a special way. This scene was somewhat cruel, enough to frighten many timid people. Lin Moyu watched with an icy gaze, feeling nothing. Little May had experiences from her previous life. Having seen life and death, she didn't feel any discomfort. However, when she saw the netherworld race refining and eating people, anger flashed in Little May's eyes. Little May gritted her teeth, her crisp voice turning cold. Why are they doing this? Lin Moyu said, to evolve netherworld race people. In the time reversal, a black shadow suddenly crawled out of the ancient well that had swallowed who knows how many people. The black shadow was a netherworld race person. The netherworld race evolved from the ancient well. As soon as they emerged, they possessed intelligence and a certain cultivation realm. The other netherworld race people held a celebration ceremony for the addition of a new race member. At the ceremony, their food was those refined people. Lin Moyu asked softly, most of those they captured are humans, and not of high cultivation. Does Little May know why? Little May said, because among all races, the beast race and human race are the most numerous. The beast race has the beast emperor, so they don't dare go there. The human race has no ruling king, so even if they capture some, no one will care. Lin Moyu said, what else? As before, Lin Moyu still had Little May seek the root of the problem. Clearly the previous answer wasn't enough. Little May thought for a moment, besides that, I can't think of any other reason. Lin Moyu said, there's one more reason. Because the beast race isn't smart enough. Humans, regardless of realm, are smarter than the beast race. This is also one of the reasons they choose humans. Otherwise they could completely choose spirit beasts or other animals. Little May nodded. Lin Moyu was right. She also knew the netherworld race wasn't stupid, and this intelligence naturally didn't come from nowhere. The sole intelligence absorbed from humans by the netherworld black pool was the foundation of the netherworld race's intelligence. Little May said, thank you for your guidance, teacher. Little May realized her way of looking at problems was indeed still a bit inferior to Lin Moyu's. Lin Moyu smiled and said, you're very smart. Actually, if you just think a bit more, you'll naturally understand. Now that they had figured out why the netherworld race captured people, the next steps were simple. Over so many years, who knows how many people they had captured and eaten. Such a netherworld race had no reason to exist anymore. Killing them not only didn't incur karma, but might even bring rewards, strengthening one's own destiny. Lin Moyu removed the time reversal and came to the ancient well at the center of the village. Waves of black chi emanated from the ancient well, more concentrated than the black chi on the ground. Little May looked into the ancient well and immediately felt uncomfortable. Lin Moyu said, when hell shattered back then, the netherworld black pool also shattered, falling onto this land. Large pieces of the netherworld black pool evolved into these ancient wells before us. More fragments turned this land into its current state. Each ancient well can be seen as a weakened version of the netherworld black pool. Though not strong, it has most of the functions of the netherworld black pool. This is what created the netherworld race. Lin Moyu had sorted out the origin of the netherworld race. Little May said, so the netherworld race shouldn't exist in this world. Lin Moyu nodded slightly, that's right. They aren't normal living beings. They belong to hell, not here. If they have any meaning for existence, it's to become food for the netherworld black dragon, nothing more. Little May nodded. In her view, such a disgusting netherworld race indeed had no reason to exist. Lin Moyu pointed at the ancient well. The skeleton hell appeared along with spatial distortions, enveloping it. According to Lin Moyu's analysis, the ancient well evolved from fragments of the netherworld black pool in the once real hell. So he should be able to absorb it using the netherworld black pool in his skeleton hell. And what was most important in the netherworld black pool? Naturally the netherworld black dragon. In legend, the netherworld black dragon could rival the dragon race ancestor, incredibly powerful. As soon as the skeleton hell appeared, a resounding dragon roar sounded. From the netherworld black pool in the skeleton hell, a pitch-black dragon head emerged. Its eyes full of excitement looked at the ancient well, then rushed over, opening its huge mouth to bite down. The netherworld black dragon bit the mouth of the ancient well, then pulled hard. Boom! The earth rumbled, cracking open like a volcanic eruption. The netherworld black dragon forcibly pulled out the ancient well. At the very bottom of the ancient well, Lin Moyu and Little May saw a fragment about the size of a head. Little May said, is this the fragment of the netherworld black pool? Lin Moyu made a sound of agreement, it should be. The netherworld black dragon bit the ancient well, eating it mouthful by mouthful. Its sharp teeth grinding against the ancient well produced a teeth-clenching scraping sound. The netherworld black dragon ate with relish, biting down hard, accompanied by excitement. Before long, it had eaten the ancient well clean, swallowing the netherworld black cool fragment as well. After eating the netherworld black cool fragment, the netherworld black cool in the skeleton hell immediately rumbled, emitting more black chi. The netherworld black dragon continuously let out dragon roars, each louder than the last. Lin Moyu found the netherworld black dragon had become stronger, more powerful than ever before. He felt the current netherworld black dragon was enough to rival a 7th level Dao Venerable. Most importantly, the netherworld black pool in the skeleton hell seemed to be becoming increasingly real. This was after eating just one ancient well. There were over 100 such ancient wells in netherworld race territory. If it could eat them all, perhaps the netherworld black pool in the skeleton hell would become as powerful as in that prehistoric era. Having eaten everything clean, Lin Moyu said softly, "Let's go. On to the next one." Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3284, 3284. Chapter 3284, we've been discovered, so let's crush them head on. The skeleton generals continued their task of exploring and mapping out the area, finding village after village. On this land filled with netherworld black chi, there were no living beings besides the netherworld race. Not even the smallest insect could be found. Moreover, the netherworld race rarely left their villages, which made it convenient for the skeleton general's activities. Lin Moyu followed the map in his mind, going from village to village, killing as he went. He first moved along the outskirts of netherworld race territory, wiping out all the outer villages before moving inward. As he went, Lin Moyu continuously released vast numbers of skeleton generals and legion commanders. Led by the commanders, they surrounded this land, preventing any netherworld race members from escaping. Ancient well after ancient well was eaten by the netherworld black dragon. The netherworld black cool fragments that had evolved into the wells became food for the netherworld black dragon. The netherworld black dragon grew stronger and stronger. The netherworld black pool in the skeleton hell also became increasingly real. The netherworld black pool was unfathomably deep, emitting an aura that inspired fear. The lava ground of the skeleton hell could at most make people feel shocked and awed, unlike the netherworld black pool which could make one's heart tremble with fear. Looking at the increasingly real netherworld black pool, Lin Moyu felt somewhat pleased. He knew he hadn't made a mistake. Lin Moyu moved quickly and quietly. When dozens of villages on the outskirts were cleared, the other villages and tribes hadn't discovered any problems. This was also related to how the netherworld race rarely went out. In just half a month, there were no more traces of the netherworld race on the outskirts of their territory. Teacher, the color of the ground has changed. Little May looked at the ground. The land that had been constantly emitting black chi was rapidly fading in color. Black chi no longer rose up. Though the ground hadn't returned to its original state, it was much better than before. Lin Moyu also noticed this. After carefully sensing, he couldn't help but smile. "We've been discovered." Little May made a sound of surprise. "How did they discover us?" Lin Moyu said, "Little May, take a guess." Little May made a sound of acknowledgement and thought about it, drawing on her past life's experience. After a moment, she had some answers. It should be through the netherworld black pool. The netherworld black pool is one entity. Even though it's shattered, the pieces are still connected. Teacher took away fragments of the netherworld black pool. Once the number was high enough, the netherworld black pool naturally sensed it. Saying this, Little May looked at Lin Moyu, as if seeking confirmation. Lin Moyu smiled. "Anything else? Anything else?" Little May continued thinking. This time she thought for quite a while before coming up with more. The netherworld black pool shattered, but it certainly wouldn't have broken evenly. The fragments must be of varying sizes. I imagine there's a large fragment at the center of netherworld race territory. The netherworld race members that evolved from that fragment should be quite powerful. Lin Moyu nodded with a smile. Well said. Can you think of anything else? Little May thought for another moment, then shook her head. Little May can't think of anything else. Lin Moyu prompted, don't forget what's in the netherworld black pool. Little May's eyes lit up. Teacher means the netherworld black dragon. The netherworld black dragon is still alive. Lin Moyu said, since the netherworld black pool hasn't completely shattered, it's normal for it to still be alive. But it should also be injured, and quite severely, unable to leave the netherworld black pool. Some of the soul intelligence from those captured humans was probably fed to the netherworld black dragon. Little May's expression became somewhat serious. Legend says the netherworld black dragon is extremely powerful. The once real hell was legendary, and the hell of legend was very powerful. The netherworld black dragon was an extremely strong existence within hell. No matter who it was, everyone would feel awe towards legendary things. Lin Moyu smiled and said, no matter how strong, didn't it still shatter? It's no big deal. Let me ask you, now that they know we're here, what's the best way for us to proceed? Previously they had entered silently, wiping out village after village. Now that they'd been discovered, they naturally needed to change their method. Little May said, since we've been discovered, let's go openly. These guys all deserve to die anyway. Killing them all won't wrong anyone. Lin Moyu raised his hand and patted Little May's head. That's right, they all deserve to die. Since that's the case, let's kill our way in openly, crushing them head on. As Lin Moyu patted Little May's head, her eyes narrowed into crescents, clearly enjoying it. Though she had memories of her past life, she was still herself. She was still close to Lin Moyu, still Lin Moyu's good disciple. Little May asked, Teacher, how will you kill them? Lin Moyu said, there are many methods. There's one I haven't used in a long time. As he spoke, Lin Moyu snapped his fingers. In an instant, vast numbers of skeleton generals appeared in the world. Lin Moyu released 10 billion skeleton generals at once. Though it was only 1/30th of the total he could summon, it was already incredibly shocking. Little May knew Lin Moyu could summon skeletons and knew the numbers were astonishing. But hundreds of thousands or millions was already the limit she could imagine. But now, the sky and ground were densely packed with skeleton generals. The numbers were so vast there was no end in sight. Little May covered her mouth. How can there be so many? Lin Moyu chuckled and snapped his fingers again. Over 1,000 legion commanders appeared in the sky, instantly followed by waves of dragon roars. Dragon riders appeared, their feet wreathed in flames, bodies clad in armor, wielding swords and shields. 1,000 legion commanders led 1 billion dragon riders. Adding in the skeleton generals, the total reached 20 billion. Dragon roars sounded endlessly, shaking and distorting the entire space. The skeleton generals and dragon riders were all at the 5th level Dao Venerable realm, with only slight differences in strength. Though the legion commanders were stronger than the other two, they were still at the 5th level Dao Venerable realm. This was an army of 20 billion 5th level Dao Venerable beings. Though not high in realm, it was enough to terrify people. With this army pressing forward, apart from those at the 7th level Dao Venerable realm and above, no one else could hope to escape. Then, flames blazed fiercely as the Skeleton King thrones appeared. 3,000 Skeleton Kings appeared in the sky. The moment the Skeleton Kings appeared, the entire undead army's strength suddenly increased. This was the ability of the Skeleton King technique. Skeleton Kings could enhance the combat power of other skeletons. The more Skeleton Kings, the greater the boost. An individual Skeleton King's combat power was at early 6th level Dao Venerable realm. When 3,000 Skeleton Kings acted together, their combat power soared to mid-6th level Dao Venerable realm. The Skeleton Generals and Dragon Rider Legions were the same, all rising a level in combat power within their own range. 1 or 2 rising didn't make much difference, but 20 billion undead all rising at once was truly terrifying. The undead army had formed, but this still wasn't the end. Amid Buddhist chants, the Buddhist realm lich appeared beside him. Then as the power of the 5 elements surged, the 5 elements sword lich also appeared. Accompanied by lightning and thunder, the lightning lich appeared. The destiny lich flew out with a clear laugh. Little May's eyes widened. Even with her past life's experience, she couldn't comprehend Lin Moyu's methods. The last to appear was Supu. Only Lin Moyu knew clearly that the undead army's true purpose was to intimidate, surround, and prevent any fish from slipping through the net. The ones who would truly kill were the liches and Supu. With a thought, the vast undead army surged forward with boundless killing intent towards the center of Netherworld race territory. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3285, 3285. Chapter 3285, killing him requires a reason. In Little May's eyes, Lin Moyu had always been mysterious and unfathomable. Even after merging with her past life's memories, Little May still couldn't see through Lin Moyu. The more she couldn't see through him, the more Little May felt her choice hadn't been wrong. Following Lin Moyu only had benefits, no drawbacks. At this moment, she finally saw a glimpse of Lin Moyu's true abilities. The tip of the iceberg had finally surfaced. But as soon as it surfaced, it brought her unimaginable shock. On the Origin continent, any force faced with an army of 20 billion 5th-level Dao Venerable beings would probably feel despair and an indescribable sense of powerlessness. Even if a 9th-level Dao Venerable wasn't afraid of them, it would be extremely difficult to kill them all. By the time a 9th-level Dao Venerable acted, the army would likely have already killed everyone else. The 20 billion undead army, under the command of 1,000 legion commanders, quickly formed an enormous encirclement. They didn't charge in directly, but first surrounded the Netherworld race's territory, then gradually tightened the encirclement. The undead legions originally on the outermost perimeter didn't move, to prevent any Netherworld race members from escaping the inner encirclement. Multiple layers of encirclement, coordinated operations, Lin Moyu ensured not a single Netherworld race member could escape. Lin Moyu brought Little May along, following behind the undead army as they advanced. In his mind, the map of the entire Netherworld race territory was already very complete, except for the innermost core area. There were still 42 village tribes left for him to deal with. Little May asked, "Teacher, why didn't you do this from the beginning?" Lin Moyu said, "Use your brain, think about it carefully." Little May thought for a moment, was teacher worried about the hell fragments? Lin Moyu nodded slightly, his gaze looking into the distance. "I can't help but worry. The hell fragments are very troublesome things. If not handled properly, they could destroy the entire Origin continent. Once they grow, even a great Dao realm being might not be able to suppress them." One reason the Three Lives Buddha Patriarch was willing to give hell to the Netherworld race was that he couldn't truly suppress the hell fragments. Because of this, it was better to pass on this hot potato. In his Buddha realm, large areas had been polluted by the hell fragments. Using his full power, he could only shrink and temporarily seal the hell fragments, but couldn't truly suppress them. This was why the three ancestors were so wary of them. Little May continued Lin Moyu's train of thought. Perhaps the Three Lives Buddha Patriarch thought the Netherworld race could deal with the hell fragments. After all, the Netherworld race came from the Netherworld Black Pool, and the Netherworld Black Pool was once part of hell. Lin Moyu shook his head. It's not that the Netherworld race can deal with the hell fragments, but that they have a way to use them. If I'm not mistaken, it's the Black Dragon in the Netherworld Black Pool that wants the hell fragments. The hell fragments should be able to help it recover. Little May made a sound of surprise, seeming somewhat worried. Lin Moyu said, "There's no need to worry too much. It's not so easy for it to recover. Besides, the Netherworld race originally had a hell fragment. If it could recover, it would have already." Hearing Lin Moyu say this, Little May relaxed a bit. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "People are like this. The more you know, the more you worry. Little May, knowledge from your past life is certainly valuable, but sometimes you can't rely on it too much. You must remember, in this life you are an independent, brand new individual. Take the good things from your past life, throw away all the bad things. Understand?" If Little May didn't know about her past life's knowledge, she wouldn't worry at all. Sometimes, ignorance is bliss. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Lin Moyu chuckled, "That's right. Learn to control your heart, control your impulses, control your emotions. Forge an incredibly strong Dao heart. Only then can you truly master yourself." Little May nodded. Little May understands. The two walked into a village. The village was already empty. There should have been Netherworld race members in the village tribe before, but they had all been killed by the undead army. There were originally over 100 cultivators kept like pigs in pens in the village. Their minds had been taken, with only a trace of soul left. They could no longer be called human. So Lin Moyu had ordered the undead army to kill all such penned people they encountered, wishing them an early reincarnation. The Netherworld Black Dragon in the skeleton hell began to feast again, devouring the ancient wells formed from Netherworld black coal fragments, including the fragments at the bottom of the wells. The undead army was like a plague of locusts. Wherever they passed, not a single Netherworld race member could survive. Moreover, the undead army attacked simultaneously from all directions, giving the Netherworld race no chance to react. Over the next few days, Lin Moyu just walked into village after village, releasing the Netherworld Black Dragon to devour the Netherworld Black Cool fragments. The Black Dragon in the skeleton hell grew stronger and stronger, completely surpassing the Hell Fiends, almost reaching another level entirely. However, it seemed to be restricted by something, unable to break through no matter what. Lin Moyu knew it was the skeleton hell restricting it. The Netherworld Black Cool was part of the skeleton hell, and it was part of the Netherworld Black Cool. So its realm couldn't possibly exceed the skeleton hells. Keep devouring for now, consider it accumulation. Lin Moyu could sense that although the Netherworld Black Dragon couldn't break through for a long time and its power was no longer increasing, the Netherworld Black Cool was still becoming clearer. So devouring Netherworld Black Cool fragments was still useful. It could continue devouring and accumulating. Now the only thing missing was the Hell Fragments. With the Hell Fragments, the skeleton hell could be upgraded, and the Netherworld Black Cool would naturally be elevated. Of the 42 village tribes, when they reached the 39th village, a legion commander suddenly transmitted information. He had found a living person here who claimed to know Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu went over curiously and saw the survivor. Seeing him, Lin Moyu did indeed recognize him. The man was called Mu Chuan, one of those who had left the Great World back then. Lin Moyu had thought they would never meet again, but unexpectedly encountered him here. Thank you for saving me, World Master. Mu Chuan's eyes still held terror. He almost knelt before Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu said, from the moment you left, we no longer had any relationship. Your rescue today is just your good luck. As for the future, whether you can survive and how long you can live has nothing to do with me. Mu Chuan's face stiffened. World Master, Mu Chuan was wrong back then. Please give Mu Chuan another chance. Lin Moyu shook his head slightly. There will be no more chances. This lord never goes back on his word. After saying this, Lin Moyu turned and left. Mu Chuan knelt on the ground, begging Lin Moyu, World Master, please give me another chance. Please give me another chance. Lin Moyu ignored him and walked further and further away. Watching Lin Moyu's receding figure, a hint of hatred actually appeared in Mu Chuan's eyes. This hatred couldn't escape Lin Moyu at all, but Lin Moyu didn't care at all. Little May said softly, Teacher, he hates you. Lin Moyu didn't care. There are many people in the world who hate me. One more doesn't make a difference. Little May said, but Little May feels he shouldn't be like this. Teacher clearly saved him, yet he hates Teacher. It's not right. Lin Moyu chuckled. Then what does Little May think should be done? Little May said, someone who can't tell good from bad shouldn't live in this world. Lin Moyu smiled and said, we were acquainted after all. Killing him requires a reason. Little May said, then let's give him a reason. Please use time reversal, Teacher. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3286, 3286. Chapter 3286, Netherworld Divine Lord, protect our race. Lin Moyu seemed to have anticipated Little May would say this. Without wasting words, he directly used the Time Great Tao. Time Reversal. The Time Great Tao cast down a projection, revealing what had happened in this village. In the time reversal, everything Mu Chuan had done was shown in the projection. Why had everyone else died, while only he survived? Because he had become one of the Netherworld race. He had gone out several times, leading Netherworld race members out and bringing them back. Mu Chuan was human, though not from the origin continent. But he was still human after all. After struggling in the southern continent for so long, he had some understanding of it. Somehow he had connected with the Netherworld race and become their running dog and spy. The Netherworld race's ability to successfully capture human cultivators from the southern continent each time was likely partly due to his efforts. So everyone else died, while he remained unharmed. Seeing this, Little May said, "That's reason enough." Lin Moyu said, "Then do as you wish." Little May nodded. She turned and walked towards Mu Chuan. Little May still looked like a child, but with her past life's memories, she was no ordinary child. She had killed many times in her past life. Little May wouldn't hesitate. However, Mu Chuan was at the heavenly venerable realm. Little May was currently only at the transcendent realm and not his match. Lin Moyu's heart stirred. A vast power descended, instantly immobilizing Mu Chuan. Little May walked up to Mu Chuan. The cloud-piercing sword automatically flew to her hand. Little May slowly thrust the cloud-piercing sword into Mu Chuan's body. "You deserve to die." Throughout the process, Mu Chuan's eyes were filled with terror. But he couldn't speak or move. Until his dying breath, he couldn't make a sound. Little May returned, her voice low. "Over so many years, for the Netherworld race to quietly capture so many people, there must have been some people colluding with them among humans. If possible, Little May requests teacher to find all these people." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Little May has such confidence in teacher." Little May said, "If even teacher can't find them, Little May believes no one else can." Little May now had a mysterious confidence in Lin Moyu. She believed Lin Moyu could definitely find them. Mu Chuan was just one of them, and probably not the main figure. Lin Moyu was somewhat surprised that Little May had such a sense of justice. The human race of the southern continent was divided into factions. They usually didn't care about others' deaths, only minding their own business. Little May said, "In my previous life I was an ancestor of the Coldwater Sacred Ground. I have some understanding of the internal situation of the human race. Actually, the humans of the southern continent aren't just scattered sand." Lin Moyu made a sound of interest. "Tell me about it." Little May said, "Back then I was focused on cultivation. Though I knew some about the human situation, I wasn't very clear on it. If teacher wants to know, we can return to the southern continent and ask the true managing ancestor at the Coldwater Sacred Ground." Lin Moyu said, "The current ancestor of the Coldwater Sacred Ground is called Ji Kang. Does Little May know him?" Little May said, "I know of him. When I dissolved my body, Ji Kang was already an ancestor. I didn't expect he's still there now. It seems the sacred ground has really declined over these years." At this moment, Little May's tone was somewhat mature. Combined with her 10-year-old face and crisp voice, it felt extremely interesting. Lin Moyu said, "Then after we finish here, we'll go back to the southern continent and ask Ji Kang. We'll also pick someone up along the way." Little May made a sound of agreement. "All right. I haven't been back to the sacred ground in a long time. I wonder what it's like now." Suddenly Little May tilted her head up and asked, "Teacher, did you already see that Mu Chuan was problematic?" Lin Moyu smiled without saying much. "That's not important. Let's go, on to our next stop." Actually, when Lin Moyu saw Mu Chuan, he had already realized something was wrong. All along the way, the Netherworld race never spared a single human. Why would they uniquely spare Mu Chuan? There must have been a problem. Even if Little May hadn't said anything, Lin Moyu would have eventually used time reversal to check the situation. Little May's sudden sense of justice surprised him somewhat. But as a member of the human race, it was natural to have different feelings towards humans. Lin Moyu could fully understand. It took only 5 days to clear all 42 villages. The black dragon in the skeleton hell's netherworld black pool had eaten its fill. Its aura had reached its peak. No matter how much more it ate, it was difficult to advance further. It was just waiting for a chance to break through. Now only the final area of Netherworld race territory remained. This area was enveloped by endless black chi. The black chi had turned into thick fog, surrounding it completely. The thick fog couldn't be dispersed by wind, burned away by fire, or affected by rain. If anyone entered, they would certainly get lost inside. Even a 9th-level Dao Venerable would have difficulty distinguishing directions within. The Netherworld race had completely withdrawn. Apart from the thick fog, black chi no longer rose from the ground. The netherworld black pool in the skeleton hell continuously spewed black chi. The black chi swirled like a vortex, emitting a humming sound. The humming resonated, as if telling Lin Moyu to go in, go in. What was in the black fog was nothing but the largest piece of all the netherworld black pool fragments. And that damned but not dead netherworld black dragon. Lin Moyu knew this resonance was because after devouring many netherworld black pool fragments, his netherworld black pool had resonated with the original netherworld black pool from hell. His netherworld black pool wanted to completely devour the other, to become the true netherworld black pool. With a mental command, the vast undead army charged into the black fog from all directions. The black fog was dense, obscuring vision and even blocking perception. Within the black fog, it was impossible to distinguish directions, let alone find the netherworld race's true location. Lin Moyu could sense that the netherworld race's black fog and the black chi spewed by his own netherworld black pool came from the same source. So this black fog has such uses. Too bad it's useless against the undead army. Lin Moyu thought to himself. The undead army directly used the undead eye to seek prey. As long as souls existed, they couldn't escape their eyes. Even if the undead eye was blocked, it didn't matter. Lin Moyu could fill this entire area with the undead army. He didn't believe they couldn't flush them out. Soon, the undead army found the first village in the black fog. There were many soul flames in the village. They seemed to be performing some kind of ritual. Through the undead eye seeing the positions of the soul flames, Lin Moyu saw a strange pattern. The undead army charged in directly without any words. At this moment, a vast power surged from the village, repelling all the attacking undead army. The soul flames of the netherworld race people in the village flickered violently, more intensely than ever before. Netherworld Divine Lord, protect our race. Netherworld Divine Lord, protect our race. Shouts rang out as the black fog suddenly churned violently. Boom, the black fog roiled. An invisible attack fell, instantly killing hundreds of thousands of skeleton generals. In the process of exterminating the netherworld race, the undead army encountered true resistance for the first time. Asterisk 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 asterisk. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3287, 3287. Chapter 3287, this battle should not last too long. Lin Moyu was not surprised, and muttered to himself, now that's more like it. The netherworld race couldn't have existed for so many years if they were this weak. The netherworld race must not be weak. The dragon race did not like the netherworld race, and with the dragon race's domineering personality, if the netherworld race was very weak, they would have been wiped out long ago. The dragon race would not like having such neighbors. Moreover, on the other side of the netherworld race was the 100 Herbs Alliance. Though the 100 Herbs Alliance seemed uninvolved with worldly affairs, that wasn't actually the case. The 100 Herbs Alliance also liked territory. Lin Moyu thought it must be the existence of the hell fragments and the netherworld black pool that made withering and flourishing elder of the 100 Herbs Alliance wary. Sometimes, it's not that the higher the realm, the more reckless one becomes. On the contrary, the higher the realm, the more cautious one becomes, not daring to act rashly. The three ancestors were extremely wary of the hell fragments. They wanted to keep an eye on them but didn't want to touch them, fearing disaster would befall them. Firstly, the existence of the once real hell made these great Dao realm survivors afraid. Secondly, the hell fragments involved huge karma, which they didn't want to touch. Besides the above reasons, the netherworld race didn't expand. They mostly stayed within their own territory, extremely mysterious, as if not existing in the world. Over time, the netherworld race was left alone. But now, the netherworld race had encountered their greatest enemy. The netherworld black pool was the foundation of their existence, but also the source of their destruction. The villages and tribes on the outskirts of the netherworld race territory had been completely destroyed. Now only the core area covered by black fog remained. Lin Moyu and Little May watched the black fog from afar. Unable to see or sense anything in the black fog, Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't risk going in. Fighting was best left to the undead army. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands of skeleton generals were annihilated. Lin Moyu's brow furrowed slightly, his gaze becoming sharp. Being able to instantly kill hundreds of thousands of skeleton generals was not something an ordinary person could do. At least an 8th or even 9th level Dao Venerable was needed. But he hadn't seen the enemy. Even the vision constantly connected to the skeleton generals through the undead eye hadn't seen the enemy. However, Lin Moyu still locked onto the target, those soul flames in the village. The owners of these soul flames were Netherworld race members. They formed a special shape, doing something unknown. Just before the attack, their soul flames had flared up. When unable to find who was attacking, directly eliminating the source was the most effective method. Not only did Lin Moyu think this way, but the Legion commander in charge of this area thought the same. The next second, large numbers of the undead army attacked. Hundreds of skeleton kings each locked onto an opponent and slashed out with their swords. Technique: Divine Bone Slash. The bloody bone Dao surged in the black fog. Hundreds of bone Daos formed a bone sea, illuminating a tiny area in the black fog. Sword light flashed on the soul flames, then exploded with a boom. But the soul flames didn't move at all. An invisible force protected them. The Divine Bone Slash had failed. Lin Moyu was somewhat surprised. Over the years, the Divine Bone Slash had rarely failed. Even if the opponent's realm was too high, the Divine Bone Slash should at least have hit the target. But this time, the Divine Bone Slash couldn't strike the opponent. Although the Skeleton Kings had locked onto them, the Divine Bone Slash was blocked by an invisible force. The Legion commander reacted extremely quickly. Seeing that the Divine Bone Slash was useless, he immediately adjusted tactics. The Dragon Rider legions launched a bloody charge, transforming into sharp spears rushing forward. Over 100 soul flames of the Netherworld race flared up again, emitting powerful force. Silver-white light points lit up the black fog. Within the silver light, the black fog rapidly churned, condensing into a giant. The giant threw a punch. The charging Dragon Rider legions instantly collapsed, shattered by one punch. Over 100,000 Dragon Riders died on the spot, just like before. This time, Lin Moyu could see clearly. The black fog had become the opponent's weapon. The Netherworld race could manipulate this black fog through special methods. The source of the black fog was the ancient wells evolved from the Netherworld black pool. The ancient wells here were very large, far larger than those he had devoured before. The larger the ancient well, the larger the Netherworld black pool fragment that evolved it, and the stronger its power. This also indicated that when the Netherworld black pool shattered and fragments fell here, they fell in a radial pattern. The closer to the center, the larger the fragments and the more numerous. What he had devoured before was only a small part compared to the complete Netherworld black pool. It seems they've already learned to use the power of the Netherworld black pool. Lin Moyu could see that the fundamental power of this black fog was the power of the Netherworld black pool. They kept chanting, "Netherworld Divine Lord." Who knows if this Netherworld Divine Lord really existed? If it did exist, it was probably that black dragon that hadn't died. The Legion commander continuously commanded large numbers of Dragon Riders and Skeleton Generals, with Skeleton Kings leading the charge, launching continuous attacks on the village. But the black fog kept condensing into giants, repeatedly defeating the undead army. At this moment, the undead army's numerical advantage wasn't being brought into play. There wasn't just one giant. Sometimes 2 or 3 would condense, defeating all the undead armies charging in from all directions. At most, the undead army instantly lost over 3 million troops. Fortunately, the undead army could continuously revive, and their numbers were sufficient. The Legion commander kept rotating them, so each batch that died wasn't the same as the previous batch. Lin Moyu watched for a while and roughly understood the situation. The giants condensed from black fog could only move within a certain range. They couldn't leave the village too far, which meant they only had defensive capabilities, not offensive capabilities. In this great battle, his side would not lose. From the beginning, Lin Moyu had never thought about losing, only about how to win. In the black fog, village after village was discovered. The undead army launched attacks on each village. 20 billion undead troops charged into the black fog. The entire black fog exploded with battle. The undead army instantly suffered countless casualties, then immediately revived and continued fighting. Both sides fell into a stalemate. The undead army had difficulty breaking through. Lin Moyu vaguely felt something was wrong. He felt the Netherworld race must be plotting something. This great battle couldn't drag on too long. With a thought, the liches that had never acted before began to move. Buddhist light fell. In the eternal Buddha realm, 1,000,000 believers were instantly sacrificed. The Destiny Lich cooperated, locking onto one of the Netherworld race members. The Buddhist realm Lich threw a punch. With a crisp sound, a soul flame trembled violently. Then the Buddhist realm Lich threw punch after punch. After 3 consecutive punches, that soul flame was extinguished on the spot. The power of the giant condensed from black chi weakened slightly, but was still very strong, still able to block the undead army. The 5 elements sword Lich flew out, the sword Dao circling its body, the 5 elements sword flying out. 5 elements sword sea. With one slash, sword chi turned into a sea, enveloping the entire village. The village was swallowed by the sword sea. The giant condensed from black chi roared silently in the sword sea, throwing punch after punch, causing huge waves in the sword sea. The black chi was very strong. Though the 5 elements sword Lich's attack had reached the 7th level Dao Venerable realm, it still couldn't do anything to them. Until the sword sea dispersed, the village remained, and the black chi giant remained. The 5 elements sword Lich didn't stop. It also relied on the Destiny Lich, instantly slashing dozens of times. Each slash struck the same Netherworld race member. With a light sound, another soul flame was extinguished. The power of the black chi giant was weakened again. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3288, 3288. Chapter 3288, I'll try another method. Though the Buddhist realm Lich, 5 elements sword Lich and Destiny Lich were cooperating and showing initial results, Lin Moyu was not satisfied. This speed was too slow. Each village had over 100 Netherworld race members, and they had already discovered 12 villages, with over 1,000 Netherworld race people. If they killed them one by one, it would take a very long time. Moreover, some of the Netherworld race members had very high realms, reaching 8th level Dao Venerable. The 5 elements sword Lich might not be able to kill them. Lin Moyu's mind stirred, ordering the lightning Lich to act. At the same time, a drop of ancestor water flew out, silently falling on the lightning Lich. The power of belief also began to burn fiercely. The lightning Lich, cloaked in lightning, wielded the lightning Dao. It raised its small hand and pointed forward. Technique. Chain lightning. Lightning at the 8th level Dao Venerable realm instantly pierced through the black chi giant, like an incredibly sharp sword, stabbing into the village and striking one of the Netherworld race members. The lightning revealed the body of this Netherworld race member, a pitch-black human body. Then the lightning exploded. Chain lightning automatically tracked every Netherworld race member, following their bloodline, Dao, and soul, striking each one. The realm and strength of the first Netherworld race member hit by lightning no longer mattered. Because all the Netherworld race members in this village would be struck by lightning. Soul flames extinguished one after another. The Black Chi Giant's combat power continuously weakened until it completely collapsed. At this point, of over 100 Netherworld race members in the village, only 10 survived. Of these 10, 8 were the cream of the crop at 7th level Dao Venerable, and 2 were at 8th level Dao Venerable. One chain lightning directly broke through the Netherworld race's defenses. As the Black Chi Giant collapsed, the undead army immediately charged in. A silver light flashed in the black fog. Su Ku was the first to charge in, targeting the 2 8th level Dao Venerable Netherworld race members. As a revived being who had fallen from pseudo-great Dao realm, Su Ku's combat power was top tier among 9th level Dao Venerables. Dealing with 2 8th level Dao Venerables was easy for him. Moreover, the lightning lich's attack had already injured them. Just as Supu arrived, the lightning lich launched another chain lightning. Without the Ancestor Water's enhancement, its power was slightly weaker than before, but the 7th level Dao Venerable Netherworld race members, injured on top of injury, were already dying. Among 7th level Dao Venerables, the lightning lich was simply an invincible existence. And no matter how many enemies there were, it made no difference to it. As long as they were of the same kind or race, with some connection between them, none could escape chain lightning's lock-on. The existence of this technique completely overturned normal understanding. Lin Moyu felt that perhaps only the Karma Great Dao could surpass the lightning lich in this aspect. Supu cleanly killed the 2 8th level Dao Venerable Netherworld race members, and also finished off the others. These Netherworld race people must have been performing some kind of ritual. Throughout the process they hardly resisted, just standing there motionless, shouting loudly about the Netherworld Divine Lord. If not for this, Supu couldn't have killed them so quickly. It was practically instant death. With all the Netherworld race people dead, the Black Fog still existed, but there were no more Black Chi giants. The army charged into the village and found the ancient well evolved from the Netherworld Black Pool. Lin Moyu, standing outside the Black Fog, was about to go in when his heart suddenly tightened. His spiritual sense sent a warning. Retreat. His thoughts bypassed the Legion commander, giving orders directly to the undead army. But it was a bit late. The ancient well suddenly generated a suction force. All undead troops within a 100-meter radius were sucked into the well, instantly losing contact. The summoning slots emptied out. Lin Moyu knew they had all died, unable even to revive. Fortunately, the elemental liches and Supu were far away and unaffected. The suction force that suddenly erupted was terrifying. Lin Moyu wasn't sure if Supu and the others could withstand it. The suction continued. Large amounts of black fog were sucked into the ancient well. Vision gradually cleared. Soon all the black chi in the entire village disappeared, revealing the complete village before Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's brow furrowed slightly. Something's not right. Little Mei asked, "Teacher, is there a problem?" Lin Moyu said, "The village is too big, there are too few people." The village was very large, bigger than any village they had seen before, equal to 10 previous villages combined. This was a large tribe. But there were too few people inside, only the 100 or so performing the ritual. And these 100 people all had high cultivation. This was very abnormal. Such a large tribe should have at least thousands of people living in it. Moreover, it was impossible for the Netherworld race to all be powerful. Newly evolved tribe members from the ancient well were not very strong. Where did all these people go? Lin Moyu looked puzzled. Suddenly, the ancient well's suction stopped. With a rumbling sound, the ancient well began to shake. Then a dragon's roar echoed through the sky. A huge black dragon head emerged from the ancient well, followed by its body. This black dragon was hundreds of meters long, with half its body still in the ancient well, continuously roaring. The dragon's roar turned into vast power, spreading outwards like ripples on water. Wherever it passed, space shattered and undead troops crumbled. Lin Moyu's heart stirred. The cloud-piercing sword automatically flew out, landing in Supu's hand. Supu swung out sharp sword chi, slashing at the black dragon. At the same time, the image of an 8-tailed celestial fox appeared behind him, also letting out a long howl. The howl was so strong it suppressed the dragon's roar. Then Supu had already swung the cloud-piercing sword and attacked. The black dragon suddenly charged over, spewing dragon breath. Supu swung his sword to shatter the dragon breath, reaching the black dragon's front. The cloud-piercing sword slashed down. With a huge boom, Supu was knocked back. The black dragon seemed to feel nothing. It opened its mouth, biting down at Supu. Supu didn't retreat but advanced, directly killing into the black dragon's mouth. The next second he killed out from the black dragon's head. He killed straight through from inside to outside. But the black dragon didn't collapse. Black chi spread, rapidly healing the wound. The black dragon instantly recovered, attacking Supu again. At this time, the lightning lich pointed a finger. A bolt of lightning struck the black dragon's body. Lightning spread over the black dragon's body. Patches of pitch-black dragon scales appeared from the lightning, but the black dragon still felt nothing. Supu swung the cloud-piercing sword, moving at lightning speed, slashing at the black dragon with sounds like striking iron. The black dragon completely ignored itself, frantically launching fierce attacks at Supu, but it couldn't do anything to him. Supu also couldn't do anything to it. Supu had already killed into its body several times. No matter what injuries it received, it could rapidly recover. Lin Moyu watched for a while and muttered to himself, about 7th level Dao Venerable attack power, with defense surpassing 9th level Dao Venerable. The cloud-piercing sword can't break through it. I estimate magical treasures below the Great Dao realm are helpless against it. This is a black dragon evolved from a netherworld black cool fragment. Ordinary attacks are useless against it. Little May said, we should destroy its source. As long as we destroy this ancient well, it should dissipate. Lin Moyu said, that's one method, but the ancient well isn't easy to destroy. I'll try another method. Little May asked curiously, what do you want to do? Lin Moyu raised his finger and lightly pointed. Space distorted as the skeleton hell instantly appeared. A dragon's roar burst from the skeleton hell. A black dragon also emerged from the netherworld black pool in the skeleton hell. At Lin Moyu's command, Supu immediately retreated. Then the two black dragons clashed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3289, 3289. Chapter 3289, let's go eat the next meal. The two black dragons fought fiercely, twisting and entangling each other. Both bit down repeatedly, savagely tearing at each other in an incredibly chaotic scene. Little May instinctively said, it looks like infighting between the same kind. So this was teacher's method. Lin Moyu said, yes, the black dragon has devoured so many fragments, now it's time for it to do some work, consider it digesting. That one's defense may be strong, but the black dragon has the characteristic of being able to eat anything. No matter how strong the defense, it will eventually die. And my black dragon has the entire skeleton hell as backup, so it's unlikely to lose. Little May nodded repeatedly, flattering him, teacher's reasoning makes sense. Lin Moyu chuckled helplessly, where did you learn to talk like that? Little May said seriously, it comes from the heart. Lin Moyu felt somewhat helpless. Though Little May was still Little May after absorbing her past life's memories, she had been subtly influenced to some degree. Only Lin Moyu himself knew whether his reasoning made sense or not. The reason he did this, besides what he said, was another very important reason, intuition. Lin Moyu trusted his intuition greatly. As long as his intuition was right, many things wouldn't go wrong. It was the same this time, using the right method at the right time. Using his own netherworld black pool to deal with the netherworld race's netherworld black pool. Both were netherworld black pools, and both incomplete, so naturally they could fight. He believed his black dragon wouldn't lose, but even if it did lose, it wouldn't matter much. He wouldn't suffer too much loss anyway. If it won, then they could keep doing this for the remaining villages. After all, there were still 11 village tribes, each with an ancient well like this. If it lost, then he'd think of another method. If really necessary, he'd go personally and smash the ancient wells. The two dragons fought fiercely, both biting each other all over, but their wounds rapidly healed. However, Lin Moyu had already seen the key, the opponent's recovery speed was starting to weaken. His own black dragon was gradually gaining the upper hand. No problem, Lin Moyu thought to himself. Little May also saw the result, we're going to win. Lin Moyu nodded, mentally ordering Supu and the others to assist the undead army in attacking the other villages. First eliminate the netherworld race, then wait for him to come deal with the black dragons. Supu and the others obeyed and left to get to work. Seeing his own black dragon gaining the upper hand and starting to firmly suppress the opponent, Lin Moyu said to Little May, "Little May, since we entered the Netherworld race territory, have you thought of anything?" Little May tilted her head and thought for a moment, then shook her head, "I can't think of anything." In her view, the whole process had gone smoothly, seemingly without any problems. Lin Moyu said, "Look carefully at that ancient well. Use not just your eyes, but your heart." Little May listened to Lin Moyu's words and looked at the ancient well. As the foundation of the Black Dragon, the ancient well's essence was a fragment of the Netherworld Black Pool. Just looking with the eyes, one really couldn't see any clues. Little May didn't just look with her eyes, but used her heart to sense. She extended her perception to the maximum, feeling the ancient well. Gradually, she sensed at the bottom of the ancient well a faint trace of power extending from afar. This trace of power came from the same source as the black chi. It was power belonging to the Netherworld Black Pool. Little May suddenly opened her eyes. The Netherworld Black Pool fragments are connected to each other. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "You've discovered it. So you should be able to deduce some things." Little May's mind raced. If the Netherworld Black Pool fragments are connected to each other, then they may have known when we came in. But why didn't they react? No, actually they did react, just very abnormally. Thinking back now, Little May found many things that didn't add up. The Netherworld race should have known they were coming, yet didn't seem to. Little May said, "They were stalling for time." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "That's right, they were stalling for time." Little May said, "Why stall for time? Could it be for the hell fragments?" Lin Moyu showed a hint of approval. "That should be correct. They may want to use the hell fragments for something. They're probably already doing it, just need a bit more time to finish. They didn't expect us to come. This matter must be very important to them. They're willing to give up some Netherworld Black Pool fragments in order to finish that task first. At the same time, that task must be taking up a lot of their energy, so they don't have the energy to deal with us." Little May asked, "Then what does teacher plan to do?" Lin Moyu chuckled, "Since they have business, let's not disturb them. They do their thing, we do ours." Huh. Little May stared blankly at Lin Moyu, never expecting to hear such an answer from him. Little May asked in confusion, "Teacher, aren't you worried they'll use the hell fragments to do something big?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Though the hell fragments are terrifying, it's not so easy to use them. Besides, the Netherworld race originally had a hell fragment. After so many years, we haven't seen them do anything with it. Now with one more piece, in such a short time, they can't do much." Lin Moyu spoke with full confidence. He had obtained hell fragments before, more than one, so he knew very well how terrifying they were. To make hell fragments reach an uncontrollable, world-destroying level required a lot of time. If the Netherworld race had that ability, they would have done it long ago, not waited until now. So Lin Moyu wasn't worried at all. He was confident the Netherworld race couldn't pull off anything fancy. Since that was the case, they could do their thing and he'd do his. First take away all the Netherworld Black Pool fragments, then deal with the Netherworld race and get the hell fragments. Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with a keen light. He had long since seen through everything. Little May also knew her teacher understood everything. He asked her to see if she could understand. Though she had been training all this time, Little May felt she was still far behind Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu was the one who could truly see the essence of things, seeing and thinking too deeply. With a resounding dragon roar, Lin Moyu's black dragon finally achieved victory. The black dragon pulled the ancient well out from underground, devouring its spoils in big gulps, continuously roaring to announce its excitement. After the black dragon had eaten the entire ancient well, including the Netherworld Black Pool fragment, Lin Moyu waved his hand, "Let's go, time to eat the next meal." Now another village's Netherworld race had been cleared out. Just like before, the ancient well absorbed a large amount of black fog and evolved a black dragon. This time the undead army was prepared. When the ancient well was absorbing black chi, the undead army stayed far away, not approaching and thus not suffering any damage. After the black dragon appeared, the undead army didn't attack, but retreated far away. The black dragon roared incessantly, but the undead army had retreated far enough to avoid harm. As Lin Moyu had thought, the black dragon couldn't leave the ancient well too far. A moment later, Lin Moyu arrived. Without a word, he directly deployed the skeleton hell. The two black dragons began fighting again. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at tr30n. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3290, 3290. Chapter 3290, Netherworld Black Dragon, Evolving Hell. Lin Moyu and Little May became spectators, watching a grand show. The two black dragons fought incredibly fiercely, entangling, tearing, and grappling, filled with wild beauty. They no longer needed any battle techniques. Both seemed to be performing their natural roles. This kind of battle had a different flavor compared to the brilliance of magical combat. Little May was watching with great interest when suddenly Lin Moyu handed her some melon seeds. Eat while you watch, it's more flavorful this way. Little May didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Her teacher even had this side to him. Crack crack. The crisp sound rang out non-stop. Before Little May could start, Lin Moyu had already begun cracking seeds, eating with relish. Watching the battle between the two black dragons, Little May noticed some differences. Teacher, your black dragon seems stronger than before. Lin Moyu nodded. It is indeed a bit stronger. Its bite is better. After experiencing the previous battle, the black dragon had indeed become somewhat stronger. As the black dragon devoured more and more netherworld fragments, even if there was no essential change in its realm, its combat power could still increase a little bit. For example, its teeth were sharper and its scales tougher. Soon after the battle began, Lin Moyu's black dragon suppressed the opponent. The time to end the battle was also shorter than before. The entire battle lasted about half an hour before Lin Moyu's black dragon achieved victory and began to enjoy its spoils. After it finished eating, Lin Moyu waved his hand. Let's go, next stop. Lin Moyu cleared the 12 villages one by one, not rushing at all. With each village cleared, the area covered by black fog shrank a bit. When all 12 villages were cleared, the area covered by black fog had shrunk considerably, leaving only the very center. Looking from afar, the diameter was no more than 10,000 li. An area with a diameter of 10,000 li wasn't actually very large. However, the black fog in this area was incredibly dense, exuding a terrifying aura. This was the Netherworld race's core area. The main body of the Netherworld black pool was inside, along with 2 hell fragments. Due to the black fog's influence, Lin Moyu couldn't accurately sense the aura of the hell fragments. The best method was still to let the undead army clear the way. With a thought, the undead army charged towards the black fog. Boom! A ball of flames suddenly burst out from the black fog, exploding in the air and falling as fiery rain. Several legion commanders simultaneously ordered the charging undead army to break sharply and quickly retreat to avoid the fire rain. The fire rain fell to the ground, instantly turning the earth into a sea of flames. The flames burned fiercely, destroying the ground. Rocks turned to lava, beginning to flow across the land. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes. This scene was familiar. His skeleton hell was also a world of lava. It seems the Netherworld race really has researched some things. With hell fragments in hand, and having evolved from the Netherworld black pool with countless connections to the real hell, it wasn't surprising they could research some things after countless years of studying the hell fragments. Lin Moyu watched the fiery rain falling from the sky but didn't rush to attack. He wanted to see to what degree the Netherworld race could research the hell fragments. The fire rain fell continuously, turning the earth into a lava world. The black fog began to gradually shrink, revealing the true face of the Netherworld race's core area. This was a city. Everyone thought the Netherworld race had no cities, but that wasn't the case. At the core of the Netherworld race was a city. This city was black and red. At the center of the entire city was something like a volcano crater. The city was built around this crater. The crater continuously spewed flames and thick black smoke. Around the crater, many Netherworld race people gathered, constantly shouting, "Netherworld Divine Lord." With their shouts, flames continuously erupted, merging with the black smoke and shooting into the sky. Little May said, "No wonder there were so few people in the previous tribes. They all came here." Lin Moyu said, "So they knew we were coming from the very beginning." Little May asked curiously, "What are these people doing gathered here?" Lin Moyu watched for a moment. "They should be sacrificing. These fellows are quite creative, actually fusing the Netherworld black pool and hell fragments together." The Netherworld black pool was part of hell, but it was a relatively independent existence. Hell was also divided into several areas: the gates of hell, Netherworld black pool, lava world, all existing independently, in parallel relationships, not fused together. Lin Moyu understood this clearly, having seen the great Tao realm of hell before. The Netherworld race obviously didn't understand. Otherwise the Netherworld race wouldn't do such a foolish thing. Lin Moyu brought Little May up into the air, looking down at the volcano crater from high above. Little May's eyes suddenly widened. In the volcano lay an incredibly huge black dragon. Half the black dragon's body was submerged in magma, as if sleeping. Lin Moyu said softly, "So that's it. This volcano crater is the Netherworld black pool, and this is the severely injured black dragon." Little May said, "It should still be sleeping. I feel it's very powerful." With memories from her past life, Little May had good judgment. When she saw the black dragon, her heart trembled, sensing extreme danger. She felt that even her past self wouldn't be a match for this black dragon. Lin Moyu said, "I don't know how strong this fellow is now. In the past it must have been incredibly powerful. What a pity, such a powerful being still couldn't escape fate." By now, Lin Moyu completely understood what the Netherworld race was doing. The Netherworld black dragon was severely injured, in a coma. Perhaps only a faint trace of will remained. This trace of will was passed down to every Netherworld race member through the Netherworld black pool. All Netherworld race people took reviving the black dragon as their mission. This time, they used hell fragments, fusing them with the Netherworld black pool, hoping to revive the black dragon. The black dragons that evolved from the ancient wells before were just incomplete wills left by the true Netherworld black dragon. Compared to the black dragon's main body, they were like fireflies to the bright moon. Little May asked, "Teacher, what should we do now?" Little May's voice trembled slightly. She was clearly somewhat afraid of the black dragon. Lin Moyu knew it wasn't that Little May was scared, but that everyone would instinctively feel fear upon seeing the black dragon. Not just Little May, even great Tao realm beings would be the same if they came here. The three ancestors were afraid of even hell fragments, let alone the true Netherworld black dragon. Lin Moyu believed that in the past, it probably wasn't difficult for the Netherworld black dragon to kill ordinary great Tao realm beings. But strangely, when he saw the Netherworld black dragon, he didn't feel afraid at all. Not only was he not afraid, on the contrary, he felt a sense of familiarity towards the Netherworld black dragon. His intuition told him that what the Netherworld race was doing was wrong. They couldn't awaken the Netherworld black dragon this way. As for the correct method, Lin Moyu didn't know either. Lin Moyu shook his head slightly. "Let's watch for now, no rush." Though he didn't know how to deal with the Netherworld black dragon, preserving their lives wasn't a problem, so Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. More and more flames were spewed into the sky. Suddenly, the entire ground shook violently. Except for the area around the volcano crater, the entire city collapsed, completely turning into a lava world. With a rumbling sound, the ground was uprooted, slowly flying towards the sky. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes. This piece of flying earth looked 7 or 8 tenths similar to his skeleton hell. The aura of hell burst forth, spreading in all directions, bringing incomparable terror. Little May suppressed her inner trembling. "They've evolved this place into hell." Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3291, 3291. Chapter 3291, both is and is not the Netherworld Black Dragon. The core city of the Netherworld race had been evolved into Hell. However, this Hell was not the same as the once real Hell, nor was it the same as Lin Moyu's skeleton Hell. It was evolved with the Netherworld Black Pool as the core, absorbing the power of 2 Hell fragments. The Netherworld Black Dragon in the Netherworld Black Pool seemed to have become the new master of this Hell at this moment. Seeing everything, Lin Moyu vaguely felt something was still not quite right. Little May also said at this time, "Teacher, I feel something's not right." Lin Moyu said, "Tell me what you think." Little May said, "The Netherworld Black Dragon shows no signs of awakening. Teacher just said that doing this won't revive the Netherworld Black Dragon. Moreover, as far as I know, Hell and the Netherworld Black Pool are actually independent. So I feel that the Netherworld Divine Lord these people are calling out to isn't actually the Netherworld Black Dragon, but someone else." Since entering the Netherworld race territory, all the Netherworld race people had been shouting, "Netherworld Divine Lord." Lin Moyu and Little May had always thought the Netherworld Divine Lord was the Netherworld Black Dragon. After all, the Netherworld race came from the Netherworld Black Pool, and the master of the Netherworld Black Pool was the Netherworld Black Dragon. Little May suddenly questioned this subjective idea. With memories from her past life, as an ancestor of a sacred ground, she naturally had access to things ordinary people couldn't compare with. She had seen many secret materials. Combined with Lin Moyu's cultivation these days, always making Little May think deeply about problems and find their root causes, she was able to see more information. Lin Moyu smiled, "Not bad. Being able to see this far shows Little May's discernment is already quite remarkable. The Netherworld Divine Lord indeed isn't the Netherworld Black Dragon, but actually is also the Netherworld Black Dragon." Little May looked somewhat puzzled. "Please enlighten me, teacher." Lin Moyu said, "Besides the Lord of Hell, the master of the Netherworld Black Pool is naturally the Netherworld Black Dragon. On this basis, Little May can think about how the Netherworld Black Pool would evolve into the Netherworld race after shattering." Little May thought for a moment and said, "The Netherworld Black Dragons will permeate the entire Netherworld Black Pool, so the evolution of the Netherworld race must also be the Netherworld Black Dragon's will." Lin Moyu said, "That's right. The evolution of the Netherworld race must have been led by the Netherworld Black Dragon's will, borrowing some abilities of the Netherworld Black Pool. But has Little May thought about why it wanted to evolve the Netherworld race?" Little May instinctively said, "It should be for self-preservation, right?" Lin Moyu's smile grew. Little May's answer was already very good. "Correct, it's for self-preservation. The Netherworld Black Dragon knew it was severely injured and couldn't recover, so it evolved the Netherworld race, wanting to revive in another way. Then there are only 2 methods. One is to select a suitable host from among the evolved Netherworld race people. The second is to fully evolve the strongest Netherworld race member to become its host." Little May, "If it were you, what would you do?" Little May thought for a moment. "I would choose the second method." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "It seems the Netherworld Black Dragon thought the same as Little May. Then think again, how could it ensure evolving a powerful host?" Little May continued rapidly turning her thoughts, seeking the answer to the question. After so many days, this pattern of Lin Moyu asking and her answering had become instinctive for Little May. Lin Moyu guided patiently, constantly leading, making Little May's thinking ability stronger and stronger. Just a few seconds later, Little May's eyes lit up with an answer. It used the Hell fragments. Lin Moyu had mentioned before that the Netherworld race had a Hell fragment. Why the Netherworld race had a Hell fragment was naturally because it fell here along with the Netherworld Black Pool when Hell shattered. It's very likely that Hell fragment was obtained by the Netherworld Black Dragon. It's not surprising that the Netherworld Black Dragon used the Hell Fragment, combined with the Netherworld Black Coal's abilities to evolve a powerful host. Lin Moyu said, well said. It should have used the power of the Hell Fragment to evolve. In this world, if you ask who could use the power of Hell Fragments, besides himself, perhaps only the Netherworld Black Dragon could. Apart from this, Lin Moyu couldn't think of anyone else. After the Netherworld Black Dragon evolved a host using the Hell Fragment, it could abandon its former body and transfer all its consciousness into the new body. Then it continued to use the Netherworld Black Coal to evolve the Netherworld race. So, the Netherworld Divine Lord in the mouths of the Netherworld race both is and is not the Netherworld Black Dragon. The shattered city flew into the sky, completely turning into ruins. The ground became a sea of fire, with only the area around the volcano crater remaining intact. Countless Netherworld race people surrounded the volcano crater, continuously shouting, "Netherworld Divine Lord." From within the volcano came an unusually strong heartbeat. With each heartbeat, the volcano crater would erupt with endless flames and large amounts of black smoke. Where the black smoke and red fire intersected, a human figure vaguely appeared. The main character is coming out, Lin Moyu said softly. The heartbeat grew faster and faster, and the human figure became more and more solid, finally allowing people to see its appearance clearly. It stood with both feet on the Netherworld Black Dragon's head, its whole body emitting black light. From head to toe, it was black. The flames illuminated it, revealing countless fine scales in the light. Its outer form seemed humanoid, with 2 hands and feet, but its face was that of the dragon race, with a pair of dragon horns on its head. Its hands weren't like human hands either, but dragon claws. Half human and half dragon, it stood just like this on the Netherworld Black Dragon. It raised one hand high, and a ball of flame was drawn to it, falling onto its body with a boom. It was surrounded by flames, burning fiercely. Even the Netherworld Black Dragon beneath it was enveloped in flames. At this moment, all the Netherworld race people's voices grew louder and more frenzied, continuously kowtowing to this half-human half-dragon being. Including the 2 9th-level Dao Venerable Netherworld race members, who were also frantically kowtowing, their expressions full of fanaticism. Lin Moyu watched and smiled, so that's how it is. Did Little May see clearly? Little May nodded, I saw clearly. The aura on this half-human half-dragon monster was very strange, different from other Netherworld race people. Its aura was nobler than the Netherworld race people, not that its power was much stronger, but a natural superiority, a feeling of being high above. Not just the Netherworld race people, even Little May felt similarly when she saw it. Lin Moyu saw very clearly that in the flames, this half-human half-dragon Netherworld Divine Lord was undergoing a transformation. Its feet were connected to the Netherworld Black Dragon, seemingly unable to separate. But with the help of the flames, power, its feet were separating from the Netherworld Black Dragon. The power of the flames came from the Hell Fragments. It had also evolved into this host using the power of Hell Fragments. Obviously, the power of one Hell Fragment wasn't enough to truly free it from the Netherworld Black Dragon's fetters, nor from the Netherworld Black Coal's constraints. So for all these years, it had never appeared before the world. Now with a second Hell Fragment, it finally had the chance to separate from the Netherworld Black Dragon, leave the Netherworld Black Coal, and move freely. Once it succeeded, it would be equivalent to being reborn. And it would possess extraordinary power right from birth. Even if it only had 1/10 of its previous life's combat power, it would be terrifying. Lin Moyu judged its strength wouldn't be below the Great Dao realm. Lin Moyu suddenly said softly, we can't wait any longer. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate Toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3292, 3292. Chapter 3292, You don't understand a damn thing. The undead army couldn't charge in under the cover of flames, and Lin Moyu also wanted to see what was really going on and understand the cause and effect, so he had waited until now. Now that he knew what was happening, Lin Moyu also realized they couldn't wait any longer. If they waited for the Netherworld Divine Lord to fully break free from the constraints of the Netherworld Black Dragon and Netherworld Black Pool using the Hell Fragments, it would truly be difficult to deal with. Lin Moyu put Little Mei into the Rules World. For the upcoming great battle, he might have to personally take the field and wouldn't be able to look after Little Mei, so it was better to put her in the Rules World. However, Lin Moyu also opened a projection so Little Mei could see the situation outside. Lin Moyu sincerely wanted to cultivate Little Mei, not just for her destiny. As someone who had dissolved their body and reincarnated, she had an extremely high probability of advancing to the Great Tao realm in the future. Who wouldn't want such a disciple? Taking a deep breath, he said, "Then let's begin." With a thought, he took out the seal from the Divine Rune Legion. The seal glowed brightly, its light enveloping all the undead troops. The combat power of each undead troop member rose another level. At the same time, Lin Moyu summoned all his battle beasts. Facing an opponent of unknown depth, Lin Moyu didn't dare to be careless. The Netherworld race didn't leave corpses after death, so he couldn't easily use that 9th level Tao Venerable corpse in his possession. Once used up, he would have no trump card left, unlike facing other enemies where he could kill one and replenish after using one up. Go! With a thought, Supu charged forward first. He evolved his true form, becoming a huge 8-tailed celestial fox, then evolved his Great Tao true body. The golden fire Great Tao dyed heaven and earth golden red, echoing the black red of the Netherworld race from afar. The same fire, yet different fire, collided in the sky. The power of the Great Tao exploded in midair like hot oil meeting water. The still evolving hell fragments shook uncontrollably, and the fiercely burning flames also weakened somewhat in the collision. The Netherworld Divine Lord suddenly raised his head to look at Supu. An extremely low voice, as unpleasant as metal scraping, said, "You're seeking death." As the words fell, 2 9th level Tao Venerable Netherworld race members rose to attack Supu. Though there were 2 opponents, Supu wasn't afraid at all. Lin Moyu flicked out a drop of ancestor water, while a large amount of belief power burned fiercely. The Skeleton Kings handed 8 bone swords to Supu. Supu's tails wrapped around the bone swords, fusing with the golden fire Great Tao. 8 swords combined into one and slashed down with a boom. An incredibly terrifying giant sword appeared in the world, slashing through the void, annihilating everything. The 2 Netherworld race Tao Venerables who had just charged over were violently knocked back, flying backwards uncontrollably. The Netherworld Divine Lord let out an angry roar. Endless flames spewed from the volcano crater, turning into fire dragons to meet the giant sword. With a huge boom, space shattered. Countless hellfires flowed into the endless void through the broken spatial gaps. The defense woven from flames was forcibly torn open by Supu, creating a rift. The elemental liches charged in first, followed closely by the undead army and battle beast army. The lightning lich moved fastest, pointing a finger to launch an attack at the Netherworld Divine Lord. Chain lightning. A bolt of lightning struck out. If this attack hit, even if it couldn't harm the Netherworld Divine Lord much, it would definitely kill most of those kowtowing Netherworld race people. The Netherworld Divine Lord roared angrily, his roar like a dragon's cry. Fire and black chi intertwined, forming a group of black chi giants with flaming fists, rushing to kill the elemental liches. The lightning lich's attack landed on the suddenly appearing black chi giants, exploding on the spot, then sparking electricity on all the black chi giants. Chain lightning relied on its miraculous locking ability to hit all the black chi giants simultaneously. Huge holes were blasted in the black chi giants, but the next second, the holes were filled in. The black chi giants had no true form. They were just products of the Netherworld Black Pool and Hellfire combined. It wasn't easy to eliminate them. The lightning lich didn't linger in battle, quickly retreating. The 5 elements sword lich met the attack, the sword Tao circling around it. 5 elements sword sea. With a hum, the sword Tao erupted violently. A vast sword sea enveloped most of the black chi giants. The black chi giants were riddled with holes in the sword sea, but they still didn't die, charging forward with their broken bodies. As their bodies were destroyed, they were also constantly being repaired. The 5 elements sword sea still couldn't kill them. Moreover, the power of the netherworld black pool was endless, able to continuously condense black chi giants without limit. If the black chi giants couldn't leave the netherworld black pool too far, this world would have long since been turned upside down. Faced with the oncoming black chi giants, the liches retreated together. The battle beast army passed the liches, colliding with the black chi giants. The 7th level Dao Venerable battle beasts were all knocked back. The black chi giants threw out punches, instantly killing many battle beasts. The black chi giants' attacks exceeded 7th level Dao Venerable, reaching the 8th level Dao Venerable level. The battle beasts simply couldn't withstand it. Fortunately, the undead army arrived. Though the undead army was weaker in combat power, they had the advantage of vast numbers. Even if they couldn't win, at least they could hold them off, creating opportunities for the elemental liches. Outside the flames, Su Pu clashed again with the 2 9th level Dao Venerable Netherworld race members. Both sides fought evenly, but Su Pu's combat power was above theirs and was gradually gaining the upper hand. However, it would still take time to kill them. At this moment, the Netherworld Divine Lord let out a cold laugh. "You can't stop me. My children, sacrifice yourselves. When this Divine Lord emerges, it will be your death. Not just you will die, everyone in this world will die. This Divine Lord controls slaughter. Everyone will fall into hell and become this Divine Lord's slaves." Black chi surged wildly. Outside the volcano crater, many Netherworld race people stood up and jumped into the volcano without hesitation. What they were actually jumping into wasn't a volcano, but the Netherworld black pool, also their birthplace. In the blink of an eye, people had already jumped in. The Netherworld black pool spewed black chi. The more people jumped in, the faster the Netherworld Divine Lord broke free from the dragon's constraints. Lin Moyu watched this scene and said softly, "It seems you evolved the Netherworld race to share the power of the Netherworld black pool, using human souls to evolve and give the Netherworld race the aura of the origin continent and hell fragments. When they return to sacrifice themselves, they become the force helping you break free." The Netherworld Divine Lord laughed loudly. "You're very clever. Since you entered the Netherworld lands, this Divine Lord has been watching you. You could actually guess through all this Divine Lord's arrangements, which is indeed quite impressive. If you could kneel and submit, after this Divine Lord breaks free, I could accept you and let you become this Divine Lord's slave." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Just you. You're not qualified. Forget about you. Even if the former Lord of Hell came, he wouldn't be qualified to say such things to me." The Netherworld Divine Lord laughed wildly. "You mere human, how dare you speak such big words? Do you know this Divine Lord's identity?" Before he could finish speaking, Lin Moyu interrupted, "You're just a subordinate of the Lord of Hell, someone who should have died long ago. Now you want to break free from Hell's constraints. If the Lord of Hell were still around, you'd probably have died countless times already." At the mention of the Lord of Hell, the Netherworld Divine Lord clearly showed fear. Obviously he was very afraid of the Lord of Hell. The Netherworld Divine Lord gritted his teeth. "He's already dead. No one can control this Divine Lord anymore, no one." Lin Moyu said, "That's not necessarily true. If even the Lord of Hell could die, then there wouldn't be few people who could kill you." The Netherworld Divine Lord roared, "You don't understand a damn thing. You have no idea who killed him. You don't understand at all. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki. Only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3293, 3293. Chapter 3293, The Netherworld Divine Lord Who Wanted to be Lord of Hell. Lin Moyu said, I may not understand now, but one day I will. As he spoke, Lin Moyu's aura rose rapidly, and a strange aura emerged from within his body. The Netherworld Divine Lord's eyes widened suddenly. Origin technique. How do you have an origin technique? Lin Moyu said, you can guess. As he spoke, Lin Moyu's aura reached the peak of the 6th level Dao Venerable realm. Then Lin Moyu took a great Dao immortality pill. As the pill took effect, accompanied by the sound of shattering glass, his aura broke through the boundary between 6th and 7th level Dao Venerable. Then his aura soared like a rainbow. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu had reached 9th level Dao Venerable, and at the peak of 9th level, not even slightly weaker than Suku. The power Great Dao True Body manifested. Lin Moyu transformed into a 1,000-meter giant, the power Great Dao commanding all the power in his body. With a thought, several destiny swords appeared behind him. The destiny swords flashed through the air, instantly appearing before the Netherworld Divine Lord and stabbing in. The Netherworld Divine Lord's aura suddenly weakened. He roared angrily, you dare to reduce my destiny. Lin Moyu chuckled, took a step forward, and appeared before the flames as if teleporting. He threw out a punch. At this moment his realm was 9th level Dao Venerable, using the power Great Dao, which belonged to the illusory class and possessed unimaginable destructive power. His physical body realm was 6th level Dao Venerable, surpassing ordinary 9th level Dao Venerables. And the fist technique he used was none other than the Giant Force Heavenly Venerables technique from the Great World. Lin Moyu had practiced this fist technique countless times. Each punch could bring out his power to the limit. Boom! The waterfall-like flames were punched open with a huge hole. Even the falling fire rain paused. Lin Moyu strode into the shattered city, throwing out 2 more punches. 2 black chi giants were instantly dispersed. Lightning! Lin Moyu let out a low shout. The long-prepared lightning lich flew out, raised its small hand, and a chain lightning struck towards the Netherworld race people outside the volcano crater. By now, about 1/3 of the Netherworld race people had jumped into the volcano, completing the sacrifice. 2/3 still hadn't had time to jump down. The sacrifice seemed to have a process, needing time before and after. It couldn't be completed by everyone jumping down at once. Stop! The Netherworld Divine Lord roared. He evolved black chi giants again, wanting to use the old method to block the chain lightning once more. But this time Lin Moyu was here. Lin Moyu acted first, smashing the black chi giants with 1 punch. The chain lightning fell on a Netherworld race person, then exploded. In an instant, lightning flashed and thunder roared. Countless lightning bolts exploded on the Netherworld race people. Many Netherworld race people were blasted to pieces, dying instantly. The lightning lich didn't stop immediately, throwing out another chain lightning. With the previous chain lightning, some stronger Netherworld race people had survived. But no matter, if 1 wasn't enough then 2, if 2 weren't enough then 3. The Netherworld Divine Lord roared, this Divine Lord will kill you. A dragon's roar sounded from the sky. Black dragons covered in flames flew down, rushing to kill the lightning lich. But with Lin Moyu present, the black dragons couldn't get near the lightning lich at all. Lin Moyu instantly threw out over 1,000 punches. The sky was filled with fist shadows. The black dragons had nowhere to escape, instantly annihilated by fist power wherever they went. Several chain lightnings fell on the Netherworld race people, then exploded. The lightning lich threw out 5 chain lightnings in total, killing almost all the Netherworld race people who hadn't sacrificed themselves yet, leaving only 4 8th level Dao Venerable Netherworld race members. They didn't die, but were severely injured. Lin Moyu found that all the Netherworld race people killed by chain lightning turned into black chi, also returning to the Netherworld black pool. They returned to where they came from. But this method of return was of no benefit to the Netherworld Divine Lord, not helping him break free from the Black Dragon's constraints faster. The Netherworld Divine Lord gritted his teeth, very good, really very good. This Divine Lord takes back the words about accepting you as a slave. This Divine Lord will put your soul in hell, to be eternally roasted. Never to be reborn. You think you have numbers. Don't forget this is hell. Hell never lacks for people. Flames continued to erupt. Countless flame-covered monsters rushed out from the flames. The fire rain falling from the sky also turned into flame monsters. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. Hell fiends. These flame monsters were very similar to hell fiends. But their power varied, some exceeding 7th level Dao Venerable, some only at 2nd or 3rd level Dao Venerable. Lin Moyu knew these monsters similar to hell fiends came from the hell fragments. The Netherworld Divine Lord gritted his teeth. I didn't expect you to know about hell fiends. This is the most terrifying army in hell, devouring everything. Your skeletons will become their nourishment. Lin Moyu sighed lightly. All right then, let's see who eats whom. He snapped his fingers. Space distorted as the skeleton hell instantly appeared. Vast numbers of hell fiends rushed out, clashing with the hell fiends released by the Netherworld Divine Lord. As soon as they met, they began frantically tearing at each other, not caring if the other side was the same kind. This stunned the Netherworld Divine Lord. How do you have hell fiends? Lin Moyu smiled and said, look carefully. Are they just hell fiends? Accompanied by a resounding dragon roar, a black dragon rushed out. Only then did the Netherworld Divine Lord see clearly that not only were there hell fiends, but also a black pool spewing black chi. This black pool was identical to his Netherworld black pool, exactly the same. Then he saw that above the Netherworld black pool, there was also an incompletely formed gates of hell. Ah! The Netherworld Divine Lord let out a strange cry, clearly greatly startled. Then he shouted frantically, gates of hell! How do you have the gates of hell? Who on earth are you? It was clear he was extremely afraid of the gates of hell, even more afraid than of the Netherworld black pool. It seemed there were still endless secrets behind the gates of hell. Lin Moyu sneered, you're destined never to get an answer to that question. As he spoke, he suddenly charged towards the Netherworld Divine Lord. By now over a minute had passed. The Great Tao Immortality Pill could last 10 minutes. He had to defeat the opponent within 10 minutes. Lin Moyu took 2 steps across the void to appear before the Netherworld Divine Lord, throwing out a punch. The Netherworld Divine Lord reacted from his shock, letting out an angry roar, die. The black dragon beneath him moved. A huge tail whipped over at an astonishing speed. The tail's speed was too fast, far surpassing Lin Moyu. With a bang it struck Lin Moyu's body. Lin Moyu was immediately sent flying, the sound of breaking bones coming from within his body. But the next second, Lin Moyu attacked again. He was like nothing had happened, frantically attacking again. The Netherworld Divine Lord's face changed slightly. He knew very well how strong that previous attack was. Lin Moyu was actually unharmed, not even looking injured. The tail whipped over again. Lin Moyu punched the tail. With a huge boom, Lin Moyu was sent flying again. The black dragon's tail was too powerful. Lin Moyu couldn't withstand it. Fortunately it couldn't move from here, otherwise Lin Moyu felt he might not be able to defeat it. Lin Moyu charged over again and again. The tail sent Lin Moyu flying again and again. In just 3 short minutes, hundreds of attacks were blocked. The defensive net woven by the black dragon's tail was incredibly tight, impossible to break through. However, Lin Moyu also found that when he attacked, the Netherworld Divine Lord's speed of separating from the black dragon became extremely slow, over 10 times slower. He needed to split his attention to control the black dragon, fighting to protect himself. Not everyone could multitask like Lin Moyu with no effect. However, Lin Moyu also had difficulty breaking through the black dragon for the moment, unable to harm the Netherworld Divine Lord. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My P at Trian is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3294, 3294. Chapter 3294, the former owner of the Calamity Scepter. The Great Tao Immortality Pill had limited time, and soul power was being rapidly consumed. Lin Moyu knew that dragging things out would be extremely disadvantageous for him. The Netherworld Divine Lord laughed loudly, your own realm isn't high. Your power comes from an origin technique, and the pill you took can ensure your physical body doesn't die or decay for a short time. It seems you rely on pills to break through your limits and maintain such a realm. But how long can you last? 10 minutes? Or 20 minutes? You have no idea what realm this Divine Lord was once at. Forget about you, even if a great Tao realm being came, they couldn't harm this Divine Lord. The Netherworld Divine Lord spoke recklessly, but he was telling the truth. The Netherworld Black Dragon's power was too strong. Even severely injured, it wasn't something Lin Moyu could break through. In fact, even if a great Tao realm being came here and the Black Dragon didn't move, letting the great Tao realm being attack, they might not be able to harm the Black Dragon's body. If the Netherworld Divine Lord completely broke free, he would have abilities no weaker than the Netherworld Black Dragon. Even if his abilities were insufficient right after breaking free, if he wanted to leave, Lin Moyu probably couldn't stop him. Given enough time, it was hard to imagine what level he would ultimately reach. By then, dealing with him would be incredibly difficult. Even Great Tao Realm might not be enough. Moreover, Lin Moyu guessed that even after breaking free from the Netherworld Black Pool, he would still be able to control it, which would be quite terrifying. So he had to be eliminated before he successfully broke free. Born from the Netherworld Black Pool, the Netherworld Divine Lord had no feelings for this world or living beings. In his consciousness, the most likely thing he would do was destroy this world, turn the entire origin continent into hell, recreate hell, and he would become the Lord of Hell. Just this point alone was something Lin Moyu couldn't tolerate, let alone anything else. Wanting to compete with him for the position of Lord of Hell. Keep dreaming. Amidst the Netherworld Divine Lord's wild laughter, Lin Moyu charged forward again. The Netherworld Divine Lord didn't think much of it, continuing to control the Black Dragon's tail to sweep across. In his imagination, Lin Moyu would be knocked back like before, completely unable to break through the Black Dragon tail's defense. But this time, something unexpected happened. The Netherworld Divine Lord suddenly let out a miserable cry. The Black Dragon tail that had blocked Lin Moyu countless times suddenly shattered. The Netherworld Divine Lord, still not separated from the Black Dragon, felt an unimaginable pain. Impossible, how did my tail shatter? The Netherworld Divine Lord still instinctively believed he was the Netherworld Black Dragon. His incredibly powerful tail, able to whip a great Tao realm being to death, had actually been smashed. Then he saw what had smashed his tail. Lin Moyu was holding a small, unremarkable scepter. The scepter had 3 gems inlaid, with space for 2 more gems, indicating it was incomplete. The moment he saw the Calamity Scepter, the Netherworld Divine Lord let out a strange cry, his eyes full of fear. Master's Scepter, how is Master's Scepter in your hands? Who on earth are you? Lin Moyu was slightly stunned, so the Calamity Scepter was the Lord of Hell's magical treasure. No wonder it's so powerful. Lin Moyu didn't know how strong the Lord of Hell was, but he could be certain the Lord of Hell was very powerful. He might not even be weaker than those Tao Lords. His magical treasure must be something surpassing the great Tao realm, naturally incredibly powerful. It had never disappointed him, smashing great Tao realm outer realm divine gods with each hit. Now it was the same, easily shattering the Netherworld Black Dragon's tail. Seeing his former master's magical treasure, the Netherworld Divine Lord almost knelt down on the spot. He was full of fear. Impossible, impossible. Besides Master, no one can use Master's magical treasure. Even if you obtained Master's magical treasure, at most you could only use it to smash things. You have no idea how powerful it is. Suddenly, his tone changed. The fear in his eyes was replaced by greed. Give it to me, and I can promise not to kill you. We'll call everything from before even. Lin Moyu saw his suddenly changed attitude and couldn't help but sneer. It seems you're really not very smart. After absorbing so many human souls and true spirits, you still haven't improved much. The Netherworld Divine Lord said coldly, don't think you can act recklessly just because you got it. Your strength is what it is. For this Divine Lord to kill you isn't very difficult. As he spoke, the Netherworld Divine Lord suddenly opened his mouth wide, spewing out black chi that filled the sky. The black chi intertwined with hellfire, covering the sky and earth as it enveloped Lin Moyu. The black chi came from the Netherworld Black Pool, similar to dragon breath but more pungent. Once engulfed by the black chi, even a 9th level Tao Venerable couldn't withstand it, unable to last long at all. In the Netherworld Divine Lord's eyes, even if Lin Moyu held the Calamity Scepter, he couldn't use its power. At most it could be an indestructible weapon used to smash things. As long as he wasn't hit by it, there was no threat. The Netherworld Divine Lord continuously spewed black chi, covering heaven and earth. At the same time, crimson light beams shot from his eyes, weaving into a large net that cut through heaven and earth like sharp blades. Where the crimson light beams passed, space was cut into fragments. Though he couldn't move, his power wasn't weak at all. He was a bit stronger than ordinary 9th level Dao Venerables, able to rival pseudo-great Dao realm. Moreover, with the Netherworld Black Dragon's main body beneath him, even a great Dao realm being would be helpless against him. From the beginning, the Netherworld Divine Lord felt he stood in an invincible position, until he saw the Calamity Scepter. Former fear welled up in his heart. When he saw the Calamity Scepter, he had a sense of dread as if facing his master. But he knew his master was already dead, body and Dao destroyed, turned to ash. Even if someone obtained the Calamity Scepter, they couldn't bring out its power. So greed arose in his heart. He wanted to become the Lord of Hell. If he could obtain the Calamity Scepter again, his position as Lord of Hell would truly be legitimate and stable. If Lin Moyu wouldn't hand over the Calamity Scepter, then he'd kill Lin Moyu and take it. Greed consumed the Netherworld Divine Lord's reason. As the former Netherworld Black Dragon, he knew how powerful the Calamity Scepter was. If he could get it, then he could truly act without restraint. Watching Lin Moyu enveloped by his dragon breath, cut by the net formed from his crimson fire light beams, he believed Lin Moyu would surely die. Suddenly, a light shone forth, illuminating heaven and earth. In the light, everything changed. The Netherworld Divine Lord felt his power rapidly decreasing, becoming weaker and weaker. Not just himself, but everyone, including the Netherworld Black Pool, including the fire cloud waterfall evolved from the hell fragments in the sky, all became weaker. Fear rose again as he realized what had happened. The Netherworld Divine Lord's voice trembled continuously. Balance, it's the balance gem. Impossible, this is impossible. How can he use the balance gem? Could he be Master's reincarnation? No, that's impossible. When Master died, his body and Dao were destroyed, his soul scattered. Even his true spirit was completely dissipated. He couldn't possibly reincarnate. And so many years have passed. If he could really reincarnate, he would have long since done so. But who on earth is he? Could it be that in this world, besides Master, there's someone else who can use the Calamity Scepter? In the blink of an eye, his realm had dropped to 5th level Dao Venerable. Under the effect of the balance gem, everything around was in an extremely balanced state. The most numerous and weakest here were the undead troops. So everything was standardized to the undead troops. No matter who or what, whether living beings or magical treasures, dead or alive, all power dropped to 5th level Dao Venerable. Everyone's realm decreased. Only the skeleton general's power increased slightly, because they were the weakest, below the average. Under the balance, they actually improved a bit. Lin Moyu stepped out from the Black Chi Dragon Breath, completely unharmed. On the Calamity Scepter, not only was the balance gem glowing, but the elemental gem was also shining. With the elemental gem, neither Dragon Breath nor Crimson Light Beams could do anything to Lin Moyu. At this moment, Lin Moyu's realm had also dropped to 5th level Dao Venerable. Only his physical body's power hadn't changed, still at 6th level Dao Venerable. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3295, 3295. Chapter 3295, Do You Have the Right to Bargain? The balance gem was very powerful. able to balance various forces, whether magical treasures, cultivation, realms, or arrays, all were within its balancing range. However, not everything could be balanced. There were exceptions. For example, destiny and the power Great Tao. Illusory things could not be balanced. Now the Netherworld Divine Lord's power had decreased, but Lin Moyu still possessed a 6th-level Tao Venerable physical body. The power Great Tao commanded all the power throughout his body, from inside to out, whether attack or defense, whether physical power or soul power, all under the power Great Tao's command, forming a whole. Now even if Lin Moyu stood still and let the Netherworld Divine Lord attack, the Netherworld Divine Lord couldn't harm Lin Moyu at all. At least under the Balance Gem's restrictions, he couldn't. Moreover, with the Elemental Gem, all attacks related to elements were completely ineffective. The Netherworld Divine Lord trembled, looking at Lin Moyu with eyes full of fear. The appearance of the Calamity Scepter had made him greedy, but the flickering light of the 2 gems made him feel fear again. He seemed to recall that period of time long ago, remembering how terrifying his former master was. Before his former master, he had been so lowly and insignificant. Past memories occupied his thoughts, leaving the Netherworld Divine Lord in a daze, lost in fear. It wasn't until Lin Moyu came before him that the Netherworld Divine Lord snapped back to his senses with a start. If he had been able to move, he probably would have fled without a trace by now. Lin Moyu looked at him, smiling, "Are you very afraid?" At this moment, Lin Moyu's smile looked incredibly frightening in the Netherworld Divine Lord's eyes. His mouth moved twice but he didn't speak. He was afraid that if he spoke, he would give himself away. At this moment, the Netherworld Divine Lord felt his entire body, inside and out, was trembling. He couldn't control his body. He was afraid that if he spoke, his voice would shake. Lin Moyu said, "I'll ask, you answer. If your answers satisfy me, perhaps I'll consider sparing you. Understand?" With the knife at his throat, the Netherworld Divine Lord had no choice in this situation. As long as he still wanted to live, he had to obey. Having barely survived the origin catastrophe, struggling for so many years, the Netherworld Divine Lord still dreamed of breaking free from the Netherworld Black Coal's constraints and becoming an independent being. How could he want to die? The higher the realm and the longer one lived, the more one often feared death. He didn't speak, just nodded his head. Lin Moyu asked, "Who shattered hell back then? How did your former master die? Think carefully before answering." The Netherworld Divine Lord seemed to recall what happened back then. The fear in his eyes grew even more intense. A low, trembling voice came from his throat, "I don't know, I really don't know. I only saw a giant hand fall, and hell cracked. Then Master left hell, probably to battle the opponent. But soon after, I saw Master fall from the sky. Then that giant hand fell again, smashing Master to ash. Even hell shattered along with him." Lin Moyu frowned, "This answer is different from what you said before." The Netherworld Divine Lord said, "I was lying to you before. I only know it was an incredibly terrifying being, extremely frightening." Lin Moyu said, "What realm was your master at? Compared to the Tao Lords, who was stronger?" At this point, Lin Moyu was still very unclear about the Lord of Hell's realm. Even the 3 ancestors might not be able to answer this question. The Netherworld Divine Lord should know more, perhaps able to provide an answer. The Netherworld Divine Lord said softly, "I don't know how strong the Tao Lords are, but I feel Master was probably a bit stronger." He seemed afraid his answer wouldn't satisfy Lin Moyu, immediately adding, "I was asleep most of the time and didn't pay much attention to outside affairs, so I don't know very much. But I once saw a Tao Lord come to visit Master, so I feel Master's status was probably higher." Lin Moyu didn't pursue the question further. He could sense the Netherworld Divine Lord wasn't lying. So he changed to another question, "Regarding the gates of hell, you seemed very afraid of it just now." The Netherworld Divine Lord said, "Master once said the gates of hell were the source of hell, the most terrifying thing in hell. But I never saw Master use the gates of hell. Even when Master died in the end, the gates of hell never moved." Lin Moyu frowned, "The gates of hell never moved?" The Netherworld Divine Lord nodded, his trembling voice certain, "Never moved." Lin Moyu felt increasingly strange. If the gates of hell were the most terrifying thing in all of hell, they should be incredibly powerful. Why hadn't they moved even when hell was shattered in the end? This didn't make sense. If they were so powerful, why didn't they move? Lin Moyu couldn't guess why, but the power of the gates of hell should be common knowledge. Whether the Netherworld Divine Lord's fear of the gates of hell or the reaction of great Tao realm beings like Jin Lei back then, both suggested the gates of hell were indeed a very frightening existence. Never used yet felt terrifying, this information must have leaked from the Lord of Hell's own mouth. If he hadn't said anything, who else would know? Lin Moyu knew he couldn't get much more information, so he changed the subject again. When hell shattered back then, how did you survive? Also, tell me in detail about how you evolved the Netherworld race. The Netherworld Divine Lord said, when Master died, I was very afraid, so I shrank to the deepest part of the Netherworld Black Pool. Afterwards hell was shattered, and the Netherworld Black Pool was also shattered. I was also severely injured. But I was lucky and didn't die, coming here along with the fragments. For all these years, I've always hoped to recover fully, but my injuries were too severe. And without hell, the Netherworld Black Pool was like water without a source. My main body could never recover. Fortunately the Netherworld Black Pool's power remained, and I also had a hell fragment. So I used the Netherworld Black Pool and the hell fragment to evolve the Netherworld race. The Netherworld Divine Lord's answers were mostly in line with what Lin Moyu had thought, with only some minor differences in details that didn't matter much. To save his life, the Netherworld Divine Lord was indeed telling everything he knew without holding back. Lin Moyu calculated the time. The Great Tao Immortality Pill didn't have much time left. He hurriedly asked, how many pieces did hell shatter into back then? The Netherworld Divine Lord thought for a moment, not many pieces. When hell shattered, most of it turned to ash. Very few fragments remained. But I know there was one special fragment that didn't turn to ash. I know you want to re-evolve hell and become the Lord of Hell, but unless you can find that one piece, no matter how many hell fragments you collect, it will be useless. Lin Moyu asked, what special fragment? The Netherworld Divine Lord said, first promise me, as long as I tell you, you won't kill me. Lin Moyu sneered, do you have the right to bargain? The Netherworld Divine Lord suddenly became very stubborn, if you don't promise, then kill me. I won't say anything anyway. He looked like a dead pig unafraid of boiling water, seemingly intending to use this information to save his life. Lin Moyu had only said earlier he would consider not killing him, but hadn't truly promised. Seeing the Netherworld Divine Lord like this, Lin Moyu said, fine, as long as you tell the truth, I won't kill you. The Netherworld Divine Lord said, it's a peace. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real-Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3296, 3296. Chapter 3296, I won't kill you, but I didn't say I'd let you go. The Netherworld Divine Lord's voice was extremely low and slightly trembling, as if trying to take one back to that distant era. It's a fragment of the gates of hell. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly, a fragment of the gates of hell. The gates of hell shattered too. The Netherworld Divine Lord said, I don't know if the gates of hell shattered. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but the piece I saw was definitely from the gates of hell. I couldn't be mistaken. This thing called the most terrifying, the ultimate weapon that wasn't used even when the Lord of Hell died, had actually shattered. Wasn't that so-called ultimate weapon just a joke then? Lin Moyu asked, where did the fragment of the gates of hell go? The Netherworld Divine Lord said, it didn't fall onto the origin continent, but flew up into the sky. It should have gone beyond the sky. Beyond the sky? The realm beyond the sky was so vast, how could one search for it? This answer was as good as no answer, impossible to verify true or false. The Netherworld Divine Lord added, at that time I hadn't been severely injured yet. I could sense the fragment of the gates of hell. It didn't fly very far, it should be somewhere just beyond the sky. If you reach the Great Tao realm in the future, you can go search beyond the sky. Perhaps you'll be able to find it. What was beyond the sky? Lin Moyu had been fortunate enough to see it once before. Beyond the sky were many great Taos. Within some great Taos, there were great Tao realm beings. Besides that, there were also ruins beyond the sky. The fragment of the gates of hell could have fallen anywhere. Perhaps it could be found, but it would certainly be extremely difficult. Actually, the Netherworld Divine Lord didn't know much. He had stayed in the Netherworld Black Pool for years, sleeping most of the time. He only knew some things about hell. He was different from other Great Tao realm beings. There was nothing more to ask him. The effect of the Great Tao Immortality pill was about to disappear. Lin Moyu said, "All right, now it's time to deal with you." As the words fell, Lin Moyu raised the Calamity Scepter and struck the Netherworld Divine Lord with moderate force. The Netherworld Divine Lord immediately let out a miserable cry. Lin Moyu hadn't struck hard, but the Calamity Scepter was too powerful. Half of the Netherworld Divine Lord's body shattered on the spot. With his body shattered, his aura weakened rapidly. However, with the help of the Balance Gem, his aura recovered to the 5th level Tao Venerable realm. This was how the Balance Gem worked, maintaining balance. If you became stronger it would suppress you, if you became weaker it would strengthen you. Now the Balance Gem's standard was the 5th level Tao Venerable realm. The Netherworld Divine Lord cried out in terror, "You said you wouldn't kill me." Lin Moyu said, "That's right, but I also didn't say I'd let you go." "Don't worry, this Lin always keeps his word. I said I wouldn't kill you, so I won't kill you." As he spoke, Lin Moyu struck the Netherworld Divine Lord again. Seemingly worried about killing the Netherworld Divine Lord, this strike was lighter than before. The Netherworld Divine Lord let out another miserable cry. Part of his body was shattered again. However, Lin Moyu controlled it very well. The Netherworld Divine Lord still didn't die, though his aura became even weaker than before, then recovered to the 5th level Tao Venerable realm with the help of the Balance Gem. Looking with the undead eye, Lin Moyu saw the Netherworld Divine Lord's soul had been severely damaged. However, his soul was strong enough that he could probably take 2 more hits. Lin Moyu had said he wouldn't kill him, but he also wouldn't let him off easily. If he just let him go like this, he would definitely be a huge threat in the future. The Netherworld Divine Lord's heart was full of violence, extremely cruel towards living beings. Even if not killed, this kind of being couldn't be allowed to gain freedom. Lin Moyu chose to cripple him, then seal him away eternally. He had even thought of where to seal him. After 3 more strikes, the last one shattered the Netherworld Divine Lord's legs, helping him separate from his main body. He had always wanted to separate from his main body and become a truly independent individual. Lin Moyu helped him realize this wish. As the effect of the Great Tao Immortality pill passed, Lin Moyu's body exploded with a boom. Then, accompanied by purple light, his body instantly recovered. The light from the gems on the Calamity Scepter faded. The effect of the Balance Gem disappeared. In an instant, everyone's realms began to recover. The Netherworld Divine Lord, already beaten half to death by Lin Moyu, lost the help of the Balance Gem. His aura plummeted to its lowest point, unable to even maintain the Tao Venerable realm. He was now at death's door. "You're a liar." His voice was weak but full of hatred, as if he might lose consciousness at any moment. He was extremely weak now, his soul severely damaged with only a third remaining. An ordinary person would have long since died completely. It was only because he was strong enough, and Lin Moyu's technique was skillful enough, that he barely managed to survive. Lin Moyu didn't care about his words at all. He raised his hand and drew a complex rune. The rune turned into a cage, falling onto the Netherworld Divine Lord. The Netherworld Divine Lord was instantly trapped by the rune. The power of the rune prevented him from speaking further. He completely lost consciousness, falling into endless sleep. Then Lin Moyu began refining an array disc. He wanted to refine a great array to truly imprison the Netherworld Divine Lord. After all, he had once been the Netherworld Black Dragon, an existence even stronger than Great Tao Realm. Who knew if he had any trump cards? Lin Moyu wouldn't gamble, he had to be absolutely certain in everything he did. The array disc was quickly refined. He placed the rune imprisoning the Netherworld Divine Lord into the array disc and activated the array. A great array sealing off heaven and earth was thus completed. With this array in place, the Netherworld Divine Lord couldn't absorb any origin power from the outside world, so he had no hope of recovering. Then Lin Moyu's mind stirred. A ravine appeared in the skeleton hell. Lin Moyu threw the array disc into it. This was the sealing place he had prepared for the Netherworld Divine Lord. Sealed here, he could be 10,000% at ease. If the Netherworld Divine Lord showed any strange movements, the Hell Fiends could swarm over and devour him. After doing all this, Lin Moyu finally began to survey this world. Without the Netherworld Divine Lord's control, the entire world had become quiet. The black chi was slowly dispersing. Lin Moyu's gaze swept over, seeing the whole situation clearly. The fire clouds floating in the sky were formed from one hell fragment. The ground that had turned to lava was another hell fragment. The volcano crater where he stood was the former Netherworld Black Pool. The Netherworld Black Dragon's main body was sleeping in the Netherworld Black Pool. Now without the Netherworld Divine Lord, the two hell fragments and the main body of the Netherworld Black Pool had all fallen into a semi-dormant state. Perhaps after long ages, they might awaken again and evolve into something else. You wanted to fuse the hell fragments, but unfortunately, you couldn't do it. You overestimated your own abilities. When ambition doesn't match ability, the result is often death. As Lin Moyu muttered to himself, he expanded the range of the skeleton hell. The skeleton hell enveloped the two hell fragments and the Netherworld Black Pool, beginning to fuse and devour them. This was the correct way to use hell fragments, fusing them into a whole, recreating hell. What the Netherworld Divine Lord had done before was like a joke in Lin Moyu's eyes. In the skeleton hell, the black dragon rushed out excitedly, charging into the main body of the Netherworld Black Pool and biting the Netherworld Black Dragon. The Netherworld Black Dragon's defense was extremely strong, its scales incredibly tough. The Black Dragon had great difficulty biting through. However, it didn't know the meaning of discouragement, continuing to bite tirelessly again and again. Gradually, a piece of flesh was bitten off the Netherworld Black Dragon's main body and devoured by the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon began to undergo a qualitative change. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3297, 3297. Chapter 3297, The Lost Fragment of the Gates of Hell. From the moment the Netherworld Divine Lord was sealed, the outcome was already determined. From now on, there would only be one Netherworld Black Pool, the one in the skeleton hell. The Netherworld race had been erased from the origin continent. The Black Dragon in the skeleton hell continuously gnawed on the Netherworld Black Dragon. Its body began to solidify, changing from illusory to real. A qualitative change was taking place. From now on, it would be the new Netherworld Black Dragon. Countless hell fiends were devouring the hell fragments. The two were fusing, and the skeleton hell was undergoing a qualitative change. The skeleton hell, which had reached a bottleneck, finally broke through under the fusion of two hell fragments, beginning a magnificent transformation. The power of the skeleton hell grew stronger and more real. The illusory feeling gradually receded. Whether lava, earth, or hell fiends, all became incredibly real. Without deliberately looking, one couldn't tell the skeleton hell was just a technique. More people would think it should be an independent world. The hell fiends collectively howled, their voices echoing back and forth in the former Netherworld race territory. Amidst the howls, the range of the skeleton hell expanded rapidly, increasing several-fold. The diameter it occupied expanded at a speed of hundreds of kilometers per second, growing ever vaster. The skeleton hell's expansion wasn't just towards the four directions, but also towards the sky and into the earth. The clouds in the sky were engulfed by the skeleton hell, its edges no longer visible. The earth was devoured by the skeleton hell, continuously sinking. The skeleton hell devoured heaven and earth, becoming increasingly substantial. Lin Moyu didn't know how large the original real hell was, but now his skeleton hell covered a range of 10,000 kilometers. A 10,000-kilometer radius, truly reaching to heaven and penetrating the earth. Beneath the earth, magma flowed in torrents. In the sky, lava fell as waterfalls. Countless hell fiends bathed in the lava. A red eye opened in the sky. Raging flames burst from the hell's eye, the flames gray in color, undying fire. Flames continuously spewed from the hell's eye. After leaving the hell's eye, the gray flames instantly turned into lava, merging with the hellfire. The hell fiends grew stronger amidst their howls, breaking through their limits to reach the 7th level Dao Venerable realm. There was a huge gap between 6th and 7th level Dao Venerable. Previously, the skeleton hell had been stuck at the peak of 6th level, unable to break through for a long time. Even devouring more great Dao fragments couldn't lift the restriction. Now with the help of 2 hell fragments, the skeleton hell finally broke through its limits, advancing another step. 7th level Dao Venerable hell fiends were enough to easily trap and kill all 7th level Dao Venerables, and enough to give 8th level Dao Venerables a hard time. Then the hell fiends began to split, their numbers increasing rapidly. In less than 10 short minutes, the number of hell fiends reached 10 million, more than doubling from the previous 4 million. A 10,000-kilometer radius area, plus 10 million 7th level Dao Venerable hell fiends, just this power alone was enough to make most forces on the origin continent despair. Even powerful forces like the beast race couldn't field 10 million 7th level Venerable ancestors. Unless all the royal clans joined forces, with 8th and 9th level Dao Venerable powerhouses acting together, they wouldn't qualify to contend with the skeleton hell. To truly defeat the skeleton hell, perhaps only pseudo-great Dao realm beings would have the ability. The skeleton hell had already become very strong, but it hadn't reached its limit yet. The Netherworld Black Dragon was working hard to devour the former Netherworld Black Dragon's main body. As the skeleton hell advanced, its power also increased. The previously devoured Netherworld Black Pool now erupted with vast power, pushing its strength forward. Its body was growing thicker, larger, and longer. The Netherworld Black Pool also became even larger, the black chi it emitted more sinister. Now the black chi emitted by the Netherworld Black Pool had terrible corrosive properties, no weaker than Lin Moyu's death force. The Netherworld Black Dragon's power had always been stronger than the Hell Fiends, its realm also slightly higher. It was the same now. It hadn't completely devoured the former Netherworld Black Dragon's main body, hadn't become the true Netherworld Black Dragon yet, but had already reached 7th level Dao Venerable, not much weaker than the Hell Fiends. Even if they fought, it would take at least hundreds of thousands of Hell Fiends to possibly defeat the Netherworld Black Dragon. The Netherworld Black Dragon could be called Hell's top enforcer. The Netherworld Black Dragon continued to devour, its power growing stronger. It bit down again and again, flesh flying, the scene quite stimulating. When it completely devoured the former Netherworld Black Dragon's main body, it would become the true Netherworld Black Dragon. Its combat power reached the peak of 7th level Dao Venerable. Then the Netherworld Black Dragon began to devour the main body of the Netherworld Black Pool, biting down piece by piece, tearing apart the Netherworld Black Pool's main body to eat. Its power continued to grow stronger. Lin Moyu knew that after it finished eating, the Netherworld Black Pool in the Skeleton Hell would become the true Netherworld Black Pool. The only difference was that it wasn't strong enough yet. The Skeleton Hell was limiting it. As long as the Skeleton Hell continued to grow stronger, it could keep improving, becoming more and more powerful. Lin Moyu shifted his attention from the Netherworld Black Dragon to the gates of Hell entwined with Black Chi. The gates of Hell seemed slightly more solid than before, but only a little bit. The difference wasn't very big. Lin Moyu already knew that relying on Hell fragments alone wouldn't do much to restore the gates of Hell. It might have some use in the early stages, but after a certain point it would become useless. In the end, he would still need to find that fragment of the gates of Hell to truly restore them to their original state. This was just like the Netherworld Black Pool. Hell fragments could only evolve the Netherworld Black Pool, but to truly restore it to its original state required devouring the Netherworld Black Pool's main body. Looking at it this way, Hell could be seen as 3 parts. The first part was the lava and magma region, composed of hellfire, hell fiends, spider lilies, and the Hell's Eye. The second part was the Netherworld Black Pool, composed of the Black Pool itself and the Netherworld Black Dragon. The third part, also the most important part, was the Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell were called the Source of Hell, but even the previous Lord of Hell hadn't used them before his death. Lin Moyu didn't know if he didn't want to use them or couldn't use them. If they couldn't be used, why describe the Gates of Hell as so terrifying? Lin Moyu didn't understand the reasoning. The Gates of Hell were like a mystery. Perhaps only after he restored the Gates of Hell to their original state would he truly understand the reasons behind it. But now he understood one point. In all of Hell, the lava region was the most fragile. When Hell shattered back then, that region had turned to ash. Though the Netherworld Black Pool shattered, its main body remained, with only a small part turning to ash. As for the Gates of Hell, they only had one fragment, whereabouts unknown. In other words, it seemed that even that being back then couldn't destroy the Gates of Hell. I must find a way to find the fragment of the Gates of Hell. Lin Moyu's heart was full of desire for the Gates of Hell. Perhaps then he could truly become the Lord of Hell. He murmured, the three ancestors taking me to the ruins beyond the sky is a good opportunity. I can see what kind of world is beyond the sky. The realm beyond the small world was the great world. The realm beyond the great world was space. Then what kind of world is beyond the origin continent? Interesting. As he was pondering, the skeleton hell suddenly shook violently, followed by a resounding dragon roar echoing through heaven and earth. A vast aura surged in the skeleton hell. The Netherworld Black Dragon broke through again, reaching 8th level Tao Venerable. It had completely devoured the Netherworld Black Pool. Master. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up. Go to email protected translate toki. Remove the @ symbol and type a. Chapter 3298, 3298. Chapter 3298, it's truly frightening. The Netherworld Black Dragon's sudden speech surprised Lin Moyu a little. But besides the surprise, it also seemed appropriate. After all, the previous Netherworld Black Dragon had intelligence, so it was normal for his own Netherworld Black Dragon to awaken intelligence. The Netherworld Black Dragon's voice was low and hoarse, with a hint of sharp metallic scraping, slightly grating but not unbearable. However, its voice always carried a depth like the Netherworld, instinctively inspiring fear. Lin Moyu said softly, "What's your name?" Since it had actively awakened intelligence, it should have a name. If not, he would give it one himself. The Netherworld Black Dragon said softly, "Great Master, you can name me. If Master doesn't want to, you can also use the previous Netherworld Black Dragon's name." Lin Moyu asked, what was it called? He only knew the previous Netherworld Black Dragon called itself the Netherworld Divine Lord, not its true name. The Netherworld Black Dragon said, the previous one's name was Antares. Lin Moyu was stunned, hardly believing his ears. "What did you say? Say it again." He wondered if he had misheard. The Netherworld Black Dragon said, "From the information I got from his memories, he was called Antares." Lightning flashed in Lin Moyu's mind. The Netherworld Black Dragon was actually called Antares. Then what was Antares called? Lin Moyu realized something. Antares wasn't his real name. The dragon race had several major surnames, but no one would take a name like Antares. He had been suspicious before, but hadn't thought deeply about it. Now it seemed Antares was indeed a fake name. This guy has gone too far. Next time I see him, I must get to the bottom of this. Friends for so many years, and I don't even know his real name. Lin Moyu thought to himself, then said to the Netherworld Black Dragon, "From now on, you'll be called Heiyu." He naturally couldn't let the netherworld black dragon be called Antares anymore, so he gave it a new name, meaning, Black Dragon from Hell. Whether the name was good or bad didn't matter to Lin Moyu. It was just a code name. And no matter what name he gave, the netherworld black dragon would accept it, since Lin Moyu was its master. The netherworld black dragon said, "From now on I'll be called Heyu. Master, when I absorbed the netherworld black pool, I discovered some information from the past. Do you want to see it?" Lin Moyu asked, "What information?" Heyu said, "Some information from when hell was destroyed in the past." Lin Moyu immediately gestured for Heyu to release it. A beam of light shot from Heiyu's huge eyes, forming a projection. In the projection was a hell world. In hell, flames raged fiercely. Volcanoes erupted continuously, spewing endless flames. In the sky, a huge hell's eye constantly poured out flames. Among the flames, spider lilies bloomed one after another, radiating deep blue light that made the entire hell even more terrifying. Hell was extremely vast, much larger than the skeleton hell, its edges not visible. In the lava, countless hell fiends floated. Though their strength couldn't be discerned from the projection, one could imagine they were all extremely powerful. And their numbers were endless, spread throughout all of hell, far exceeding 10 million. Lin Moyu knew this was what hell looked like before it was destroyed. In the center of hell, a black pool constantly spewed black chi. This was the former netherworld black pool, bottomless, no one knew where it led. A huge dragon head emerged from the netherworld black pool, the netherworld black dragon. In the black chi, the gates of hell flickered in and out of view. Through the projection, Lin Moyu could see the former gates of hell, covered in complex patterns, as if interpreting some profound principle of heaven and earth. Just looking at the projection, Lin Moyu felt an indescribable power. The former gates of hell were indeed much more complete compared to the current gates of hell. In the projection, the gates of hell were tightly closed, as if they had never opened. In fact, they hadn't opened for countless years, not even when hell was destroyed. Then Lin Moyu saw a person. That person was hidden in the black chi, their appearance unclear. He stood there as if he were the center of all hell, towering and incredibly powerful. In his hand he held the calamity scepter. The 5 gems on the scepter shone brightly. Then, a giant hand broke through hell's boundaries, striking down directly. The Lord of Hell wielded the calamity scepter, sending out a 5-colored beam of light that repelled this giant hand. Then, the Lord of Hell charged straight up into the sky, rushing towards the enemy. Behind him were countless hell fiends, including the netherworld black dragon, also ascending to the sky. But the next moment, an incredibly vast power fell. Countless hell fiends shattered on the spot. The netherworld black dragon fell back with a miserable cry, crashing back into the netherworld black pool. So strong, Lin Moyu marveled inwardly. The opponent hadn't even launched a real attack, just casually struck like that, and countless hell fiends died on the spot. The netherworld black dragon, stronger than Great Tao Realm, was severely injured on the spot, falling back into the netherworld black pool, unable to move. The Lord of Hell wielded the calamity scepter, charging up into the clouds to battle the enemy. The aftershocks of the battle shattered hell's barriers, causing the entire hell to shake violently. Minutes later, 10 figures fell from the sky. The person who fell was the Lord of Hell. He had been defeated. The calamity scepter was still in his hand, but the gems were nowhere to be seen. A giant hand followed closely, striking down heavily on him. All of hell nearly collapsed. The ground split open, hellfire surged in huge waves. Terrifying power raged through hell, countless spider lilies withering simultaneously. Under this palm strike, the Lord of Hell turned to ash, body and Tao destroyed. Then a giant hand appeared, grasping the hell's eye. With a squeeze, the hell's eye shattered with a boom, offering no resistance. Then the giant hand struck down palm after palm. Under the palms, hell turned to dust. Only a few fragments exploded, scattering in all directions. The netherworld black pool was relatively sturdy, shattering later. The netherworld black dragon was severely injured in the black pool, unable to move, only able to watch this scene helplessly. Hell was also its home, now destroyed like this. Only the gates of hell still stood firm. The opponent struck the gates of hell with a palm. Some cracks appeared on the gates of hell, but they didn't collapse. After several palm strikes, the gates of hell still stood. This situation seemed to anger the opponent. Then the gates of hell faced an even fiercer attack. The opponent changed from palm to fist, striking hundreds of times in an instant. The gates of hell finally couldn't withstand it, shattering with a boom. After the gates of hell shattered, most of it dissipated into smoke. Only one large fragment flew out, disappearing into the distance. Then the opponent attacked hell again. Hell completely shattered, and the scene abruptly ended. The projection recorded the entire process of hell's destruction in the past. After watching it, Lin Moyu fell into deep thought. The opponent was very strong, stronger than the Lord of Hell. The Lord of Hell was easily killed by the opponent, only lasting a few minutes, showing a huge gap in strength. But when destroying Hell, the opponent didn't seem to display strength that could overwhelm the Lord of Hell. There seems to be some issue here. If the opponent could truly overwhelm the Lord of Hell, then destroying Hell should have been a very easy matter. It shouldn't have taken over 1,000 palm strikes to shatter Hell. Especially when striking the gates of Hell, it was even more difficult. This could only mean that the person who defeated the Lord of Hell might not be the owner of this giant hand. This giant hand was already powerful enough. If there's an even stronger being behind it, it's truly frightening. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I will now start translating corruption in the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. I have completely translated the following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Real Life Player. Your Girlfriend Was Amazing. Check them out on my P at TR30N. ko-fi.com/translate-toki only donate if you want to. My Patreon is now up, go to email protected translate toki. Remove the at symbol and type a. Chapter 3299, 3299. Chapter 3299, compared to believing in myself, I believe more in teacher. The new Netherworld Black Dragon finally stabilized at the 8th level Dao Venerable realm. However, Lin Moyu knew clearly that with the Netherworld Black Dragon's combat power, using the Skeleton Hell and Netherworld Black Coal as foundations, it could contend even with 9th level Dao Venerables. Even if it couldn't defeat them, entangling them for a while wouldn't be a problem. 10 million 7th level Dao Venerable Hell Fiends were enough to sweep through all 7th level Dao Venerables, and even had a certain probability of trapping and killing 8th level Dao Venerables. The 10,000 kilometer coverage area was also extremely vast. The Hell's Eye was also stronger than before. Below 7th level Dao Venerable, no matter how many there were, almost none would survive being swept by it. The spider lilies were more lush. The spider lilies' function was to weaken. Most powerful experts, once surrounded by hell and illuminated by the spider lilies, would have their strength reduced by at least 30%. Overall, the skeleton hell was a terrifying technique capable of destroying sects and exterminating clans. The skeleton hell's advancement was complete, but for Lin Moyu, there was still one last step. He now had a full 30 Dao patterns in an idle state. The reason these Dao patterns weren't used was to prepare for the skeleton hell. Previously, the skeleton hell had already carried 12 Dao patterns. After carrying the Dao patterns, the skeleton hell's power had greatly increased. This time, Lin Moyu had prepared even more Dao patterns for it. Lin Moyu had his own reasons for doing this. He needed top-tier combat power. If he distributed the Dao patterns to other techniques, even if the techniques were strengthened, it would be a balanced strengthening. Only the skeleton hell was an exception, transcending the technique system, not needing to maintain balance with other techniques. This way, Lin Moyu saw an opportunity. Specializing in one thing to excel in all things, the skeleton hell had almost no weaknesses. As long as it was powerful enough, it would be enough for Lin Moyu to dominate. With a thought, 10 Dao patterns flew out, landing on the skeleton hell. The Dao patterns glowed brightly, containing Lin Moyu's insights into the great Dao, with the purest vast power. The Dao patterns had to be in pairs, maintaining their own yin-yang balance. They always had to be used in pairs. If used one by one, the effect would be greatly reduced. 10 Dao patterns quickly merged into the skeleton hell. The lava in the skeleton hell began to boil rapidly. Its power began to increase again, its range began to expand, quickly exceeding 10,000 kilometers, growing larger and larger. At the same time, the Hell Fiends collectively howled, then quickly began to split. When all 10 Tao patterns had merged, the skeleton Hell's range had reached 15,000 kilometers, increasing by 50%. The Hell Fiends were the same, increasing from 10 million to 15 million. However, their aura hadn't changed, still at 7th level Tao Venerable. The changes brought by the 10 Tao patterns seemed to only affect range and numbers. Lin Moyu looked at Heiyu. Do you feel any changes? Heiyu answered truthfully, in response to Master. After Master merged the Tao patterns, our upper limit strengthened somewhat, but our realm didn't change. And we feel hungry, needing to feed. Hearing the Hell Fiend's howls, Lin Moyu roughly understood the meaning of the Netherworld Black Dragon's words. The upper limit had strengthened, but the current realm hadn't changed. And because the range and numbers had sharply increased, the Hell Fiends kept splitting, causing their power to become hollow, needing to feed to replenish their strength. But even if they didn't replenish, it wouldn't matter. The Hell Fiends wouldn't rebel or cause any trouble. At most they would just be hungry. They couldn't starve to death anyway. However, in this state, their power would be affected to some degree, unable to exert full strength. Lin Moyu grasped the key point. The skeleton Hell's upper limit had increased. In other words, the skeleton Hell had a chance to advance to a higher level. This was the true function of the Tao patterns. No matter how much the upper limit could increase, any increase was good. Without another word, Lin Moyu sent another 10 Tao patterns into the skeleton Hell, directly pushing the skeleton Hell's Tao pattern count to 32, far surpassing other techniques. After merging another 10 Tao patterns, the skeleton Hell's range expanded to 20,000 kilometers, and the number of Hell Fiends increased accordingly to 20 million. The upper limit also strengthened again. As for how much it strengthened, that was still unknown. In Lin Moyu's view, strengthening the upper limit was more important than simply strengthening the technique. Because he believed that sooner or later, he would be able to push the skeleton Hell to its limit. At that time, the importance of the upper limit would become apparent. However, 32 Tao patterns still weren't enough. He needed to continue merging more. Now there were 10 Tao patterns left. After thinking for a while, Lin Moyu didn't give the 10 Tao patterns to the skeleton Hell, but kept them in reserve. Lin Moyu always believed in being prepared. 10 Tao patterns wouldn't produce a qualitative change in his combat power, so there was no need to use them for now. He had the skeleton Hell and Su Ku, which were already powerful enough. As long as it wasn't someone like the three ancestors taking action, there was probably no one on the origin continent who could harm him. Lin Moyu put away the skeleton Hell, then pulled Little May out of the rules world. Little May had watched the entire process. Except for a few secrets, Little May could be considered the person who understood him best on the origin continent. Lin Moyu sincerely wanted to cultivate Little May, so he was also sincere in his treatment, not hiding anything. He believed Little May also understood his intentions. Lin Moyu smiled and said, having seen the whole process, how do you feel? Little May's eyes flashed with worship and a hint of emotion. Thank you, teacher, for trusting Little May. Lin Moyu said, don't use someone you doubt. Since I've taken you as a disciple, I naturally trust you completely. And this teacher also believes that Little May will naturally keep some secrets for this teacher. Little May nodded. Don't worry, teacher. Little May knows very clearly what should be said and what shouldn't be said. The current Little May couldn't be viewed as a 10-year-old child. After receiving her past life's memories, though she was still an independent individual, she had been influenced by her past life to some degree. On the surface, Little May still looked cute and lively, but her mentality had already matured. In her past life, Little May had once stood in a high position, knowing many things ordinary people didn't know. For example, she understood something about hell. Little May probably wouldn't be interested in things that were too low level. So all along the way, Lin Moyu had let her see some sights she hadn't seen in her past life, including this time. He let her see how hell was destroyed, how that once incredibly powerful being was killed. Lin Moyu said, how does Little May view hell's destruction? Little May thought for a moment, then shook her head. Whether the Lord of Hell or the person who killed the Lord of Hell, they're both too powerful. Their level is too high. Little May doesn't really understand. The Great Tao Realm level was already beyond Little May's comprehension, let alone the Lord of Hell who surpassed the Great Tao Realm, and the being who could kill the Lord of Hell. Lin Moyu smiled, no need to rush. This teacher believes that one day, Little May will understand. Little May naturally understood the meaning in Lin Moyu's words. Her big eyes lit up. Will there really be such a day? Lin Moyu smiled and said, of course there will be. Little May should believe in herself, and also believe in this teacher. Little May looked at Lin Moyu with a sincere expression. Compared to believing in myself, I believe more in teacher. Lin Moyu laughed heartily. Let's go, we should head back. Just as they were about to leave, Lin Moyu suddenly turned his head to look into the distance, his footsteps stopping. Little May's expression also changed slightly, sensing something unusual. Asterisk 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 asterisk. If someone has a NOVELPIA Plus account, please let me know. Thanks. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Chapter 3300. 3300. Chapter 3300. The Lightning Lish's strongest attack. Little May, possessing an innate Tao soul, had spiritual perception far surpassing ordinary people. Though her realm wasn't high, she could still sense many things others couldn't. After Lin Moyu stopped in his tracks, Little May also noticed something unusual. Little May said, the space here seems to have been sealed off. Lin Moyu's expression became slightly grave. Yes, someone has sealed off the space. I didn't expect he would really come. I'm quite curious how he discovered me. Lin Moyu believed that the commotion he had caused, except for the final battle, wasn't that big. For the other party to discover him, thinking it over, there was only one reason. Little May asked, Teacher, who did this? Lin Moyu said, Withering and Flourishing Elder. Little May made a sound of surprise, clearly somewhat shocked, the Withering and Flourishing Elder from the 100 Herbs Alliance. Lin Moyu made a sound of agreement. After failing to kill me twice, he still hasn't given up. It seems he has quite a few spies here too. In the 100 Herbs Alliance, there were countless flowers and grasses. Among them, one of Withering and Flourishing Elder's avatars called Wild Grass could propagate countless wild grasses to monitor the world. Using this avatar, nothing in the 100 Herbs Alliance could escape Withering and Flourishing Elder's eyes and ears. The Beast Emperor had told him this before, but now it seemed there was more to it. He still carried the Beast Emperor flower refined by the Beast Emperor, which could avoid Withering and Flourishing Elder's detection. The Beast Emperor had said that as long as he didn't enter 100 Herbs Alliance territory, Withering and Flourishing Elder couldn't find him. The Netherworld race's territory was eternally entwined with Netherworld Black Chi, where no grass grew and nothing lived. There shouldn't be any of Withering and Flourishing Elder's spies here. But with his arrival, though the disturbance wasn't big, he was still discovered by the Netherworld race. The Black Chi dispersed, and the earth regained a faint vitality. The changes in the Netherworld race's land must have caught Withering and Flourishing Elder's attention, so his avatar came. Coming from beneath the earth, bringing vitality here, while also allowing Withering and Flourishing Elder to see what was happening inside Netherworld race territory. This action was silent and carried no hostility, so even Lin Moyu hadn't noticed. In the end, Withering and Flourishing Elder discovered him. Lin Moyu used all his eyesight to gaze into the distance. What he saw confirmed his guess. On the distant ground, a faint gray appeared on the originally dead land. The gray was inconspicuous, not the color of the earth. Looking carefully, one could see it was a kind of small grass, gray grass. The gray mixed with the dead earth, extremely difficult to notice. This was Withering and Flourishing Elder's avatar, Wild Grass. It was through this avatar that Withering and Flourishing Elder discovered him. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, I just don't know if Withering and Flourishing Elder came this time as an avatar or in his main body. Withering and Flourishing Elder had 3 avatars. The Wild Grass avatar had no combat power, used to monitor the world. The Vine avatar had strong combat power, reaching the peak of 9th level Tao Venerable, even slightly surpassing it, but it had been destroyed by the Heavenly Emperor. Another avatar named Thorn was said by the Beast Emperor to be slightly stronger than the Vine avatar. As for the previous Ice Fire Seed, it couldn't really be considered Withering and Flourishing Elder's true avatar. If an avatar came, Lin Moyu felt he could still handle it. What he feared was Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body coming. That would really give him a headache. But no matter what, he still had to do what needed to be done. Without another word, Lin Moyu put Little Mei into the Rules World again, while spreading his wings of time and evolving his Space Great Tao True Body. The wings of time vibrated frantically, forming space-time power. Relying on space-time power, Lin Moyu's speed increased to the limit as he flew towards the Buddhist clan's direction. His speed was very fast, like teleportation. Withering and Flourishing Elder had sealed off space, but he couldn't seal off Lin Moyu, who had comprehended the Space Great Tao. At the same time, Lin Moyu took out the Beast Emperor flower and directly activated it, transmitting to the Beast Emperor. "I'm in Netherworld race territory. Withering and Flourishing Elder is hunting me." The transmission was simple and clear, without any unnecessary words. Lin Moyu knew time was limited. If Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body had come, he would certainly discover his actions. Perhaps in the next second, the Beast Emperor flower would lose effect. Sure enough, an invisible force fell, sealing space even more tightly. Lin Moyu was also slightly affected, but could still continue flying. However, the Beast Emperor flower lost its effect, affected and unable to contact the Beast Emperor again. Seeing this, Lin Moyu's heart trembled. It seems Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body has come this time. This is trouble. It was normal, thinking about it. His avatar had failed once before. To ensure success this time, the main body would likely take action. Moreover, this was the Western continent, strictly speaking Withering and Flourishing Elder's territory. Here, his main body could act without restraint. Anyway, the message had been sent out. Whether the Beast Emperor could receive it, whether he would come, when he could arrive, these weren't things he could control. What he needed to do now was delay as much as possible. The longer he delayed, the more advantageous for him. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu had flown an immense distance, but the spatial seal grew stronger and stronger. The power sealing space came from the wild grass on the ground. Lin Moyu finally understood that though the wild grass avatar didn't have much combat power, it had spatial abilities. It was precisely with these spatial abilities that wild grass could become Withering and Flourishing Elder's eyes and ears, monitoring the world. I can't just wait for death. Lin Moyu's mind stirred. The lightning lich appeared on his shoulder. 10 drops of ancestor water fell on the lightning lich, while vast belief power burned fiercely. The lightning great Tao emerged, enveloping the lightning lich. For a moment, the lightning lich flashed with lightning and roared with thunder, its aura rising to the extreme, infinitely close to 9th level Tao Venerable. One could foresee that the next attack would be the lightning lich's strongest strike since its appearance. The wild grass avatar had sealed off space, but this also gave Lin Moyu a chance to lock onto it. A trace of the Destiny Great Tao fell, following the sealed space to complete the Great Tao enemy lock. The lightning Great Tao rumbled, following Lin Moyu's will. Along the Great Tao enemy lock, the lightning lich launched chain lightning. Lightning exploded. The world was like a huge curtain, torn open by lightning into a terrifying rift. On the ground, lightning exploded. In an instant, the entire Netherworld race's land lit up. Countless wild grasses withered in the lightning, turning to ash. Chain lightning fully erupted, using the connections between the wild grasses to instantly strike every blade of wild grass. The lightning spread towards the distance, its speed shockingly fast, extending in the direction of the 100 Herbs Alliance. There were too many wild grasses. Chain lightning would seek out every blade of wild grass, sparing none. Lin Moyu didn't know the limits of chain lightning, how far it could attack, or how many targets it could hit at most. But he could be certain that after this strike, Withering and Flourishing Elder's wild grass avatar would surely be damaged. Large amounts of wild grass were destroyed. The power of the spatial seal rapidly weakened. Lin Moyu's speed suddenly increased. He activated the Beast Emperor flower again. The Beast Emperor's voice came from the Beast Emperor flower. "This Emperor is already on the way. I'll arrive in an hour. Hold on." From the northern continent to the western continent, even if the Beast Emperor traveled at full speed, it would take at least an hour. In other words, Lin Moyu needed to hold on for at least an hour. But whether he could last an hour, Lin Moyu wasn't sure. He could only try his best. "All right, I'll do my best," Lin Moyu shouted softly, flying towards an even more distant place. Behind him, vast pressure like black clouds swept over. Asterisk 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 asterisk. If someone has a NOVELPIA Plus account, please let me know. Thanks. Asterisk 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 asterisk.